So we're live on Face, YouTube, Twitch.
The girls always ask why Hector sounds British. As soon as he sings. Why are you British, Dad?
Hey, Gabby.
No, we can talk.
Gabby, why did Hector not let you be with him in the
No, Wes,
Millennium
can't hear
Falcon?
you.
In the what?
In the Millennium Falcon.
I can't hear Wes.
Wes, okay.
I don't know why it's not working.
Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
yeah, I can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
There we are.
Erin's just typing through Facebook. She's too scared to jump on.
What
bird.
Tell my brother to go to bed.
What Millennium? What are you talking about, Davey?
Where Hector is. Isn't he in the Millennium Falcon's background?
I'm not allowed.
You drive you
You
back?
made him. You made her go to a different room.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We'd feedback.
No, I don't want to hang out with you.
that's
You
his.
could
That's
sit,
his
sit right next to him.
Right? I could be
On
right
his
next
shoulder.
No, right?
No.
On his shoulder.
Oh,
You start farting or something.
okay.
Hey, Wesco, can you see the?
Turning on mics. Turning on mics.
Yeah, I can hear. What am I?
Now we can hear you. Yeah, you're good now.
Shut up, Wes.
Right there. You've said too much already.
You're number one, Gabby.
Yeah.
Aquí tu amigo locutor, programador y muy bien desconocido, Dr. G.
¿Y su cómplice, el Chivo?
Y el Manolo Diabólico con toda la banda esta noche.
Yeah, we got a crazy group today. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna go around the room and I'm gonna call you out, and you're gonna present yourselves. All right, from top to bottom, I got X. What's up?
How's it going?
Nice. And then next we got, well, Stax doesn't need much of an introduction. El Señor Zavala. There you go.
Regular, señor, regular.
Primo, what's going on, Primo?
And then we got Davey Bones.
Hello.
Ahí está Erin. Erin's
Hola.
got one.
And then we got Wesso, the other white meat. He's there. And then just joining us right now is Erin McCool.
Hector sent me this link 2 minutes ago, and he goes,
Yeah.
"Hop on."
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Thanks
And
for
then-
the heads up,
Yo.
dude.
And then we got the beautiful
Okay.
Gabby next.
Thank you.
All right. So, anyways, tonight we're gonna do a show for our good friend and brother Felix, who left us a few weeks ago. So we've been kind of planning this out for a couple of weeks. Not really. Here in Vecindad, we kind of do everything kind of half-assed, but that's all right, So I wanted to bring all of our friends together to just share some memories, play some songs, maybe some stories, just something chill like that.
Okay.
You guys cool? All right.
Yep.
All right. So let's go with Gabby first. I'm gonna call her out.
You?
Yeah, you.
Okay. Oh, tell me what do you want? What do you want me to say? Aw,
What do you want?
We can be obvious. How long have you known Felix?
How long have I known? My whole life.
Your whole life.
Your whole life.
For those of you
Yeah,
who
my
don't know,
whole life.
But
Gabby
how long?
is-
How long did he know you? Not
My
quite your
whole life. So
All right.
For a while. Let's just say a while.
a long time.
How
Mickey
come he
Mouse.
got? How come he got a middle name and you didn't?
He didn't get a middle name. That's my mom's maiden name. They just they just messed up and put it. They messed up both of our names when we were born.
you know
Put that on
Mexican.
there.
You gotta have like 5, 6, 7 names.
Yeah, even Gabriel
know.
has 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's only half.
And he's only
Yeah, if he was full, that's a white 8.
I have no
That's
middle
an 8, yeah.
name.
Yeah.
No middle name.
all right. And
Okay,
then,
I thought he had a middle name, and I was like,
No, that's my mom's
Me too.
maiden name.
I thought he did too.
That's
Gasca.
usually, but Gabby, that's usually their middle name.
Right, something
Yeah.
like that, right?
That's
Why
that's
do you say
my
there? Like who? What are
Huh?
you talking about?
they them.
There.
yeah, who's
They?
No.
talking?
No, like my
Mexican?
I
The
thought
No.
you and Gabby were hanging out.
That
I know,
yeah.
right?
Davy's middle name is Mequetrefe.
Yeah.
Mequetrefe.
No, but like for
No.
like that's how I got my middle name is my grandmother's
Oh, that's
maiden
crazy.
name, but because I'm
Yeah.
the second from my dad, and that's how they did it. Like they
Well,
do that
my brother was what was he? The third? The third
third, yeah.
Felix? Yeah. And then Baba was the fourth.
That's the
So
way with
that
my family too.
yeah.
But he
Yeah.
has a different middle, right? Uriah.
No, yeah, he has a different middle. So he's Felix Uriah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's Felix the fourth.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Apparently-
I used to call him Cuatro.
And for
I
those
didn't
of you
realize
who
he was
don't know,
royalty.
we are talking about Felix Lozano's family, his son. Gabby's his little sister. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's
the doves.
that's
And
an amazing
then-
picture.
The doves. Cool picture.
Hey, does anybody know if that dove ever
Oh,
made it
dude,
home?
knows?
Nothing
I
got
don't know.
crushed.
I don't know, but I still think about that every
Every-
so often,
every
like
day?
throughout my
Oh.
day.
You're
All
Yeah.
of
lucky
us
that
do. All of us do.
Pops up.
Yeah, and I'll just be like,
we're lucky that PETA didn't get called on Gabe Finn.
dude. So nobody got it on video. I was kind of bummed because that would have been hilarious.
Well, I
Yeah.
think X has a couple of pictures of Gabe
Yeah.
running after
Chasing,
him.
like he's running after the
he's
bird.
Yeah,
the-
but Gabriel doesn't want anything to do with Esteban because
Because that's the real OG. Because
Yeah,
they
because
they made
I-
the mold with my fat ass. I
He
broke
said-
that damn thing.
So
They
he
Yeah.
believed
super
me when
glued
I
it,
said
and then they
that.
made that kid.
He said that
him from the
I
future.
said that he was my adopted son, and every time Gabriel would see Esteban, he'd go, "She's not your real mom.
Yeah.
You're not my
Yeah,
real brother."
But you don't tell that to an 11-year-old because it's gonna.
Well, the best part about it was like I got to the cemetery like an hour early because I just was like, I'm just gonna take some time, take some photos or whatever. And then like they happened to like you guys
Oh,
popped
that's
up,
a good picture.
and Shauna and I are talking, and immediately he comes up to me like a fucking ghoul, and he was like under my shoulder. I go, "Hey bud, what's going on, mijo?" And he goes, "You're not my brother," and like phases out, and I'm so. You don't fucking
That's
know
like
that.
that's like some Carlito's Way bullshit right there. He's gonna come up to you one of these days like, "Hey man, don't take it personally. It's just business, Carlito."
I want to be taken out, and I hope it's not on a fucking date, man. I'm waiting for it.
And,
All right.
everybody kept saying, "You're looking into your future," and Gabriel's like, "Shut up!"
I don't get that fat. My tits aren't that big.
Yeah.
All right. Let me try to.
Everybody
keep
knows that Stax has the nicest rack out of everybody on this chat.
What?
Yeah, the gallos. Bust out the
jealous.
gallos.
Órale.
A ver.
So, Gabby, what's
Oh,
your what's
nice.
your
Eh,
Yes.
Stax.
They're trying to outlaw that right
You
now.
guys do.
Put them away. You were saying Hector?
I'm telling
My
Elon.
favorite
Straight to El
favorite
Salvador.
song.
Felix
Okay,
used to
well,
call me-
let's
call-
get
call
it
me
let's
Gallo.
a little bit back on track.
Okay.
I do want to keep this at least under 2 hours. you know.
Okay. So you're asking me what my favorite song is.
Party pooper.
And then we share a story.
Okay. Well, my favorite song is 10 Feet Tall.
Okay.
It's he wrote it early on. I mean I've been there for all the songs he wrote. Like I just remember him showing them to me and stuff. And 10 Feet Tall was my favorite. I think one of the lines was for Avon when Avon was born. So 10 Feet Tall and Bulletproof took me down in a minute or two. So like basically when she was born, he was this big tough guy and he just was like crying and at the hospital because Avon was born. So yeah, so that was cool. That's
one
my
of
favorite.
one of my first memories of meeting your brother actually was seeing Avon, and she was at a Heaver show.
I have a
at
picture
Luna-
of that.
at
Yeah.
Luna's, and I remember she was like 4 maybe, and she crushed a Coke can, and your brother was like, "That's my girl."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought that she was so cute because she was so sassy.
Yeah.
Remember that?
You
So
kind of still is.
sassy.
Kinda still
Yeah.
is.
She cheered out Teresa.
Yeah.
I believe. And they
Yes.
crushed it.
And she just like
Ah.
crushed the can and she goes, "Arr!"
Yeah, I remember
And I
that.
was like, yeah.
All right. Well, off that, G, do you want to play 10 Feet Tall?
I got you here on Mi Vecindad. So we're off the radio, but we're on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. So let's chit chat. We have lots of wonderful pictures.
Yeah, I gotta get if any of you guys want, I now have that printer. So any of the ones that I took that I sent you, I know Gabby and Hector and Stacks have already making physical copies, but you guys are welcome to them. Just let me know how many you need, if you want them at all.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
No, for sure. Yeah, there's a couple that.
I'm trying to get kind of like a variety of like, I have like a drive that I'm adding like just like a lot of pictures from a memorial together, and I want to get like a book made for like, you know, like all of us, like get like 10 of them made or whatever.
Yeah.
Sweet. Let me
I can help you with that, Aaron, because I'm working on my book right now for the shop, and there's a few places I've been going to that make it pretty like easy to just click ship, and they're good to go. And
let me know.
They're not cheap quality.
There's a few people that are still like supposed to send me pictures or whatever from the memorial, but I would like to get that in the next little while. I like physical things.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's why I don't watch virtual porno.
Yeah.
No, hombre, Dr. G.
Oh, sorry. I forgot there was ladies in the room. So sorry, guys.
No, please. Like we haven't heard
VHS.
Right?
That's physical.
It is. You can hold it in your hand.
Word.
Yeah.
All right,
while he's holding other things in his hand.
You gonna bring us back in?
Yeah, you want us to? Yeah, let's get back in.
All right. Sweet. So we're gonna keep this rolling. Vecindad. Yeah. Davey, Bones, Mr. Bones.
Yeah. About one more thing about that song, Gabby, is that that was my song. I wanted to.
Oh, dang.
So, no, but
it wasn't your only favorite, huh?
So
it's a good song.
For a minute after Darktown stopped, I had Pruntang, which was like a 70s like country cover band.
Yeah.
But I was working on 10 Feet to do in that band.
Oh, sweet.
How?
Wow.
But then we never,
What's like you said it was like a 70s
like country cover band.
Oh, that'd be
but I had slowed it down, and I put it in like a one, like and I talked to I had it in a different key, but I had the same chord, like this. I used like a 1625 progression for it.
Yeah.
And it fits. And then I talked to Eddie, and he's like, "Oh no," and he's like, "Oh no, that's what it is." And I was like, "Okay, so I'll record it on the guitar. I'll send it to you." But
that'd be so cool.
But yeah,
I would love that.
That was like I was so mad you guys didn't do it when you played last year.
I know. That was so weird. It was the one that you always do.
There was always.
I know now.
The last couple of Heaver reunions, Stacks can back me up on this. It was like tooth and nails to get certain songs on.
No, yeah, you know? I know how it is.
And it wasn't Stacks. It had nothing to do with Stacks. I'll defend Stacks. And
okay,
just because he's here, you don't have to.
Right now.
Every day, well, they know who I'm talking about.
No. Yeah, no, like that would happen with Darktown too. Like if we hadn't played in a long time, I was usually like, because Rosie would have wacky Tim Panelli crazy 50 chord changes and stuff. I'm like, just 12 bar easy stuff. But no, I probably know Felix besides Gabby the longest.
Yes.
That's why I wanted to ask you about POE and King City High.
Yeah. San Lorenzo. What are you talking about?
San Lorenzo, yeah. 7th grade, 8th grade? When did you come in?
7th, yeah. With his mullet.
Oh no.
his Mexi mullet, Metallica shirt. And I think at the time, I was already pretty deep into like music in general. Like my sister and I and my sister's 5 years older, so kind of same dynamics like that Gabby and Felix have. And we lived like primarily in the out in the middle of nowhere until I was in like 4th grade. And so like she was my only / best friend.
That's how we were. Yeah.
Yeah, we shared a room. We lived in an adobe house on a ranch. Shared a room. Would stay up super late listening to the Mighty 690, which was it was an AM station. We'd get it all the way up here, and late at night it was one of those like Tijuana broadcasting towers.
Oh, dang.
Those 50,000 watts blasting, right? AM. We would hear like Dr. Demento. He'd play all kinds of wacky songs. Yeah. And then, but they would also have like all alternative kind of stuff. Like we would hear, it was 1980, 81, 82. You'd hear The Clash, you'd hear Sex Pistols, you'd hear Ramones, you'd hear kind of like what you would almost consider like mainstream punk.
Yeah, but not back then. That was cutting edge.
Yeah. And so we would hear that stuff, and and we were also like, our parents listened to like outlaw country stuff, Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, all, David Allan Coe, all that stuff. So we were already
outlaw country.
Yeah, we were already like not like the whole family was like not mainstream, as it were, and listening to like some of the punk stuff, especially like the Clash stuff, where they're talking about it's almost the same. It's like the same thing as that outlaw country stuff, where they're like working class. They're the government, taxation is theft, basically, stuff like that, where you kind of get that. And I think that like just built in both of us. And she got more and more into punk, and so I got more and more into punk. And like by the time I was in 4th and 5th grade, I was just listening to just whatever we could get our hands on.
And it was very hard to get a hold of stuff in King City.
Yeah, no, we didn't have a record store. Yeah, we would go to there was a record shop on Main Street in Salinas, and they had a little Music Zone, and they had a section,
tiny punk rock section,
this big of punk rock, that was hardly anything. And she would you could order stuff like kind of like, we had an 8-track of The Clash, and we would sit
you had an 8-track?
Yeah, we had an 8-track of The Clash, and we would sit in my grandpa's truck and listen to it. And
all right, bro, you just beat almost all of us out, because
I know
that's the punkest story right there.
I've had LPs and cassettes.
I know.
Albums
and cassettes.
There was a few things that you could get like on like Columbia House.
Yeah.
There was a handful of things you could get, and then like later on you'd have to go when you wanted other stuff. You're like, oh, I got to go find records. I got to go to shows, whatever.
With Columbia House, though, they did have a lot of good new wave. I remember that.
Yeah.
And I would go for that mostly. But we had a we had a record store here in San Jose called Radio Free Records, and you could order stuff there too. And I remember I went in there and I picked up Dead Kennedys. And it was Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. And it blew my head right off of my body. I was never the same after that, but I had all that new wave from Columbia House too. So I was listening to all of it.
I never listened to, like we had friends in high school and stuff that were like into like me and Felix would always call them darkies, is the emos. They would, they would listen to, Morrissey, Smiths,
Bauhaus,
Bauhaus, all that stuff. I never listened to it, and then meanwhile, like now, I'm like re-listening to some of that stuff.
You just look like Morrissey.
Yeah.
I used to have friends come over to my house because they knew Dave was going to come over, and because they were like, "Oh my God, your friend looks like Morrissey."
Oh God.
And I'm like,
there's a Morrissey impersonator that lives here in San Jose.
I know, the one that looks like a vampire.
Yeah, Vampire Morphe.
Morphe.
That's what I call him.
Yeah.
And I see him around, and he like won like this Morrissey competition. It's his whole personality. It's wild.
But
I know.
Did he not show? Yeah, did he not show up? For the,
he randomly disappears.
He did.
Like,
he
you look over
did,
and
but
he's
it was
gone.
only for 4 seconds, 3 hours late.
Yeah.
Dave,
my buddy's his tour manager.
Oh. What does he manage?
Oh no.
The returns.
Yeah. Well, he quit. Yeah.
The refunds.
I think he finally gave up. I think he's Beck's tour manager now, but he finally was just like, the inconsistency is he's like, I got a house payment, I got a kid, I can't afford to not go on tour.
Yeah, there's even a joke.
Morrissey.
There's
What
even
a
a joke on that.
What a frustrating job that would be.
Yeah.
There's even a joke on that show, This Fool, where the guy's trying to buy something and he goes, "Look at you, man, you pretentious piece of shit." And he goes, "Why am I pretentious?" He goes, "Look at you with your fucking Morrissey haircut." And he goes, "Fuck you, this is a gentleman's cut."
Show.
That show's hilarious.
Dude, that
I
show's
love
awesome.
that show. I have a question for Dave, though. Dave, I don't think I've ever heard. I just remember my brother coming home one day and being like, "Hey," and I told this story somewhere. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna listen to punk now," you know, and I was like, "Oh, sweet, that's cool."
So you're like, rad.
I was like, "Sweet." He's like, "I met this guy Dave Bones," and he like showed me all this cool new stuff, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, I think I was like because when you're in, especially in King City, like the culture was pretty low at that point. And I just somebody else that like had like a music shirt, you know, like that was like actually into music.
Yeah.
I just went and started talking to him, and we just started talking about stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, have you ever heard this band?" And he's all, "No." And he's like, "Have you ever heard this band?" And I'm like, "No, I don't like," because I wasn't listening to any metal. Like I've heard AC/DC. I didn't know who Metallica was. I didn't know what that was.
Metallica.
And I was just like, I go, "No, man." Like we kind of went back and forth, and then, but I think I can't remember like exactly what I was just like, "Oh, listen to this." And
I'm never gonna call them anything else now.
Yeah.
I know. He probably told you we were really into like Too Fast for Love. That was like, oh my god, that album is so good. I'm sorry.
Metal
so good. I don't care what people say. So we were like really.
Well, that's when Motley was still good, though.
Oh, so good. So we were listening to a lot of that Metallica.
Yeah, once we started the band though, like Rory was still like in grammar school.
Yeah,
we were in high school, and he was like Tommy Lee was his hero.
Yeah, I remember
like,
that actually.
Full on. We go over to his house and he has this big, like he had the Rototoms and everything. It was crazy drum set. But yeah, that's just kind of how it happened. Like when he came back from Texas, or when you guys came to King City from Texas, that was like, I was like, "Oh, this dude, like he's into music." You know what I mean? And I'm like, and I didn't really have, man, honestly, like I had 3 years before that, I was like in San Lucas, and then I came back there and they put me in like some crazy class. And like I had a couple friends and like, but a lot of the, man, honestly, like and this is what like later on, but a lot of the like the white kids that were there were like wealthy, and like we weren't. Like I was poor. Like I literally lived on the other side of the track, like on the outside of town. And
so were we, dude. We were so.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember our house and stuff.
No,
you know?
yeah, and
So poor.
And then I mean him, like once we started the band, remember his fucking hands from working at Denny's.
Yeah.
Like they just were
raw.
He got a job washing dishes at Denny's, and his hands were just completely fucked from the getting. I mean, it was so gnarly, and I always felt so bad. I was like, "God damn, dude." Yeah. And I'm like, but I mean, that was one of the things about him where he was always such a hard worker.
Yeah.
And but I mean, yeah, that we met that, you know, in 7th grade, hung out. We were buddies. We hung out all the time. And then I think I don't know if we were sophomores, maybe. And we would meet at 7-Eleven every day across the street from the school. And then one morning we were sitting there, and I think I think he was playing. I quit playing in like school band, and then he was playing in school band. But I think the music teacher like didn't know anything, but he started playing bass a little bit in one of the classes, and he came over and he's like, and he was just like, he's like, man, we need to start a fucking band, because like Death Trap was gone too, I think, and Second Chance. Death Trap turned to in King City. The first punk band was called Death Trap, and it was Patrick Grindstaff.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then Shane Larson, who I think is a teacher in high school in King City now.
Oh wow.
And then Jody Elzie, who I think is in jail.
Okay.
And then
fuck yeah.
And I think
real punk.
The story that I heard was like some dude like stole his wife or girlfriend or whatever, and then like it was 100% Pulp Fiction. He was driving over by like the feed bag or whatever it is now, and the dude was walking across the street and he just bastard hit him. But I don't know. That's the story I heard. And then I think
he posted on Facebook. I follow him on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
Sweet.
But he was also in ROS, right?
Yeah, he was in ROS. Yeah. Oh,
hold on
a second. Hold on a second.
Jody got me my first like good bass. Like I bought my first good bass off of Jody. That Black Ibanez that I played on.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then I think Stormy, I can't think of his last name. He played drums, and I think he played drums for. And then they had Chances Are after Death Trap, and then it turned into ROS when Pat left. Yeah. And ROS was more like a reflections of sound.
Of sound. Yes.
They were more like they had that dude Dan play guitar, and they were more like a metal band.
What wasn't one of the guys
like all good
work
punk
at the
bands?
Station?
They all turned Dan. Dan.
Yeah.
God, what was his name? Looked like Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah. He worked at the. So here's the thing about all these bands. Like my brother would always take me to the shows when he started playing, which was really, like who takes their little, sister, but he would always take me to all the shows. So I got exposed to everything because of him,
Yeah.
So, and Dave and, and they'd have to like take care of me, make sure nobody messed with me, blah, blah.
And yeah, I have a couple of those stories with Gabby.
Yeah.
And your brother, a couple of times, somehow I ended up behind him because something was happening with some vato.
And there was no questions asked. You just
exactly. Yeah. Nothing came out of my mouth. It was just behind him.
Yeah.
Let's talk about those times that your brother and Hector and everybody would end up in G's closet.
Oh my God, the closet! Oh my God.
Hey man, that was
the music.
Yeah, let's go.
Then we could recall. I need a beer. I need to get a beer.
Danny's not here to defend himself, so.
Yeah. Oh man, I need to wet my lips for this one.
All right, put on a track, G.
What about Working Class Tragedy?
Do it.
Classic.
Órale. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Mi vecindad. MVMN.
Take it away.
Bringing up the sketchy stuff. This is a good time for
I just remembered that was hilarious.
Davey says I took that little lid from his
It was like G's closet was like Belia's laundry room.
Yeah, I remember that place too.
Yeah.
Hector.
Yeah.
Can you ask Dr. G if he can turn up Stacks? Because I can't hear Stacks.
Okay. Yeah, Stacks, you're a little low. I don't know. Are you talking into your computer mic or are you connected?
Maybe he's trying to be sexy.
Yeah, he is trying
it's super low, Hefe.
Yeah, yours is low for some reason. All right, I think G stepped away, but as soon as he gets back on.
Let's see.
I need to hear those docile tones.
I'm not muted.
Hey, G, is there any way to turn up Stax's levels up a little bit?
Bueno.
Bueno. ¿Quién está ahí? ¿Quién no está? Everyone's taking a drink break.
Hey, how's it now? Can you hear
A little
me?
bit more. A little bit more.
Yeah, a little bit more on
Please.
Stack.
Yeah.
I was probably going to go to you
Turn
next.
me up in the headphones. Turn me up in the headphones, Stack.
How about now?
A little bit better.
Hector usually Stacks us too loud, and then now he's not.
Yeah, usually it's almost like he's on 11 all the time, dude.
Plug into your Marshall, bro. Plug into your
That's
Marshall.
better.
How about now? Okay, I see little bars going up now.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, no wonder. I was like talking, and I was like, no one's listening to me. Some good shit to say.
You have a lot of good
level.
Yeah. Like when David was talking about the music, about getting records, like in King City, we had to go to the TV repair shop. They had catalogs.
Yeah.
And that's how we got our albums.
I got kicked out of there. They wouldn't let me in there.
You should talk about how
the
you guys used to send it to other addresses. The things that you have to get them through the mail. You remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
BMG or whatever the fuck.
I don't remember
Penny.
nothing.
I would
Yeah,
write to the
you-
record stores or the record labels, and they would send little like brochures, little pamphlets.
Yeah, like they'd have a little catalog. Like Lookout would have a little catalog.
We are
And
back
FSP.
with these crazy fools.
You
All
get like those catalogs or whatever, or like the Columbia, and it'd be like 20 CDs for 99 cents, and then I'd send them to my neighbor's house.
Yeah, you get him in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys,
'Cause
we're still here
my-
talking about Felix, even though Aaron's talking about buying CDs
Records.
again.
Columbia.
It all has to do with Felix.
Like,
Hey,
you work for
man.
BMG in Columbia?
I
was
did.
born.
You-
I was born in the CD era. Sorry.
I haven't.
Oh.
Eddie, let's tag you in, bro.
I didn't know.
Can you hear me? Am I still?
No, we can hear you now. We can hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
we
we
can
hear
hear
you.
you.
I honestly
Loud.
could not hear anything you were saying
Else.
before.
But-
Oh, okay. I was wondering. I didn't see little green bars come up on the volume thing, and now they're full blast.
There you go.
We weren't ignoring you.
All right. I was like, I
Not
think
on
they're
purpose.
ignoring me.
This one goes to 11.
All right, Stacks.
All right.
We had a
all right.
meeting before
Hit
the
me.
meeting.
Your first history of meeting Felix.
First history of meeting Felix.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I was a teenager yet,
Yeah.
and
You were way underage.
Yeah, you were.
me and Edgar Rios, who's Eddie Rios's younger brother, that played in Chances Are and stuff. We were hanging out, and we went to go play some arcade games at the liquor store, and Felix was there. Felix was there with Javi. I think with your uncle Javi. Yeah, I think it was San Lorenzo Liquors. Either it was San Lorenzo Liquors or Porky's. I can't remember. Remember Porky's?
It was San Lorenzo because he told me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I forget what game we were playing. It was like Street Fighter or something like that. And I beat Felix. And he's all, that wouldn't happen in real life. And I'm like, well, of course not. I'm fucking 11, dude. You're like 16.
Can I interrupt everybody for just 1 second? Most people don't know this, but Stacks is a secret, highly competitive Street Fighter player.
Yeah.
And
I don't think it's that
I
secret.
mean,
well, no, I mean
Stacks.
he's never really gone
Remember
into
that.
like full-on competitions, but he likes to find people that play and make them cry.
Dang.
Dude, when we were kids, I mean, because
That's a dark side.
it was Hoser, Peter, which are your nephews, and then I'm the same age as them. You came in and they couldn't do the Hadouken. We must have been like freshmen in high school, and you're all, give me that fucking shit. And you stick it under your chin and you go, Hadouken, Hadouken, Hadouken with your chin. And then you throw it at us, and you're like, you don't even look good doing this. And you walk out.
Dick.
What an ass.
That's fine.
There was old even before the Hebrews, if we'd be playing video games at the houses in the 90s and Stacks would come over, we kind of turn off the video game machines because this homie would just jump on and take over and just be a dick.
How did I not know this about
It's just
Stacks?
nature taking its course, man. That's all it
And this
is.
was just last week. week when he was over
This
at the
is
house.
last week, dude.
Yeah.
Dude,
What do you
I've
expect
known,
when the
I've
wolf
known
walks into hen house,
Sax-
man? What do you expect?
I've known Sax for like 20-something years. This is news to me.
Oh,
Really?
when I moved back from Texas, we lived together, and he had all the, and I never played video games, and he would get I'm like, oh yeah, let me try it, and I sucked, and he would get so fucking mad. He's like,
I
just
spent
do
a
this,
lot of
do
time
this,
at
and
your house when you lived in San Jose,
Uh-huh.
and I don't remember any of this.
Oh, that's
No.
because he was trying to keep girlfriends.
Yeah,
Yeah,
unsuccessfully.
yeah. He was being
Anyways.
6 month Stacks at the moment.
Sorry, Sax. I just wanted to drop that knowledge about Street
No,
Fighter.
I had
no,
no
that's fine. That's
idea.
fine.
Anyways, keep
So
going.
yeah, I beat him at the game, and you know, he said, "Oh, that wouldn't happen in real life." And of course, I was like, "Well, I'm 11, dude. Like, I'm a baby, dude.
Yeah.
You know, what am I gonna do?"
He was
No,
upset.
no, but I thought he was so cool with his slick hair, you know, his tres flores, slicked back hair and stuff, and you know, I started going to the shows and like watching him play and stuff, and you know, I was like, man, I want to play music. I want to play with that vato. I want to play in a band with that guy, you know? Like, I just looked up to him, you know? And before that happened, you know, he was just like Abby was saying, like, he just took us to shows, you know, and would buy extra tickets and
Yep.
and
And
be like,
he
hey,
didn't
like,
have to, but
and it was cool. Like, my parents would let me go. My parents were really strict, you know, just like older parents and stuff. They're like, what are you doing? But like, luckily, two of my sisters went to, or three of my sisters went to school with him and knew Felix, and they like vouched for him. They're like, hey, he's a good guy. He's a hardworking guy. He's responsible. He'll take care of him. So, you know, my parents talked to Felix. They're like, you know, just, you know, take care of him. Make sure he doesn't get in trouble. You know, I was a wily kid. I needed the patience, you know, or people needed the patience for me, you know, and I needed the guidance. And, you know, he'd tell me like, hey man, like stay out of trouble, you know, like, you know, I'm responsible for you. I promised your parents, you know, and I would listen to him, man, because, you know, I was kind of out of control when I was a kid, and I didn't listen to too many people, but I did with Felix. I did, you know, like he became my big brother really, really quick, you know, and so, you know, shortly after, you know, I was playing bass, you know, I had to graduate 8th grade, you know, because I failed.
You had to?
Well, yeah, I had like I got expelled from 7th grade from San Lorenzo.
Is that the time you got caught with all that bad porn?
What'd you do?
What? That didn't happen. What are you talking
What
about?
was his
I was just
name?
disruptive. I was just always disrupting the teachers, you know, and getting referrals. And when you get back then, if you got a certain amount of referrals, you'd get expelled. So the principal kicked me out.
Oh, before Ritalin?
I probably needed Ritalin for sure.
That's what it was.
But
I was gonna say
then,
today that's called ADHD.
But then I ended up getting back into school. I moved up to 8th grade. I only did like 1/4 of 8th grade, and my dad was like, "Graduate 8th grade, I'll buy you a guitar."
Orale.
And I was like, "Really?" And so I passed, you know, and he gave my brother money to take me to the guitar showcase in San Jose. Bought me a bass. I wanted a bass. I was like, I want a bass because there's already too many guitar players in King City, and I just wanted to get good really fast, you know. So I just practiced along to like, you know, the Rancid album that was out at that time, like the first one, and then the second one came out. Let's Go, and I just wanted to get good really quick, like the guy from RKL from Rancid, and Felix saw that, you know, and when Stub was going through their second phase, you know, it was just Felix and Eddie, and they're like, well, we need new drummer, new bass player, and Eddie Rios was like, well, let's check out Eddie, you know, and I was playing in front of them and playing some licks, and of course I had the practice space, so Felix was like, yeah, let's get him to play.
Yeah.
you know, and you know,
we used to print shirts in there, remember?
Yeah, we used to do some screen printing. We didn't even have like the machine though. We all had to like hold it down like a fucking seance or like a Ouija board. You know, just a whole bunch of us just holding it down
in your garage.
You know. And then
I gotta tell you something funny, Sex. You mentioned RKL. I seen that dude at the Kaiser Pharmacy, and I was like, God damn,
which
we're
one?
old.
Getting
Johnny
methadone.
Yeah. The one. And
The
I
one.
seen him at the Kaiser Pharmacy, and I was all, what's up? And he's like, dude, he's like, this is embarrassing. I was like, I'm embarrassed too. I don't even know why.
Oh.
We're old. That's all. That's all I have to say. I was there getting medicine because I hurt my back.
Yeah.
Could be worse.
That's all.
So we used to.
Hey,
fucking old, dude.
Stacks, who always in Chances Are? It was Rory, Matt Burns, and who?
Well,
And
first,
Eddie Rios.
first it
Eddie
was
Rios.
Macker played
Macker.
Oh,
Burns
that's
first
right.
Yep.
Macker
for a
played
while,
Burns first.
and it was
Right.
Matt Burns and then Eddie Rios. And then
Yeah.
How did
Okay.
Felix get his first
Keep your
guitar?
mic closer, dude.
His first
His
what?
first
Guitar?
His first
Guitar.
He worked for
Well-
it. He got me my first guitar.
I
his
remember
bass-
you telling everybody about that.
I think he got his bass from. Didn't he order it from like J.C. Penney's?
I don't remember, Dave. I
think-
seriously don't.
I think he like his very first one was like a Honer or something like that. It was
And-
not.
And
It
he
was-
worked and just saved up, and he
Yeah.
would do that. He would save up and then like buy himself stuff, but then he'd buy me stuff. Like he bought me my first guitar. He bought me my first Doc Martens. He bought me my first leather jacket. Like it was crazy how he would just work and then buy himself stuff, and because my parents didn't have the money.
He did that for 40 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did it up to
Yeah, he did. He did.
yeah. He
That's
just I
for
have
sure.
a guitar. I
That
have a
is
guitar
him.
that he gave me, a Gibson, a $3,000-$4,000 guitar.
Because he was still giving guitars to
Yeah.
our girls, and then Bubba. I mean, he was just like, "You want an
Yeah.
instrument?"
Yeah, you got it.
I invited Buffalo to come on tonight, but I don't think he made it on. And if I remember right, maybe Gabby, you can help me. Didn't
Don't have good memory.
Felix give Buffalo his first guitar?
I don't remember. I don't know. We'd
Remember
have to
that
ask
old beater
Buffalo.
one with all the stickers and
Maybe,
stuff
I
like
don't
that? Yeah. I remember that like down in the living room back like I don't know, maybe like 90, 99, something like that. He was underage.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Stacks, you learned to play bass. Stub got created, and then you guys played in Stub for how many years? 5? At least 4. 6? Okay, I knew it was quite a bit. Keep the mic close so I could hear you. We want to hear your beautiful voice. There you
All
go.
right. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
about
yeah,
6 years. It was like 6 years.
What
Okay,
year?
well-
What years are all this for anyone that's listening?
It was like 93
Oh
to
my
like
God.
98, 90,
Way before you were born.
99?
99.
99. Yeah, it was like 99.
I went to a Stub show, but I'll tell that later.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
and man, and X, you are definitely the youngest guys.
Yeah.
Dave's in a
So-
baby soon.
Hey,
So
really
we used
Okay.
to take So
I
we
was
used to
gonna
take Stacks to shows though too. Like he would take me and you and Fidget, and they'd put both Fidget or Edgar and Stacks in the trunk sometimes, or in the back. But we'd be at all the shows, and Stacks and Fidget would just follow me around like little duckies, while my brother went into the bar because we couldn't get into the bar.
Keep an eye
And-
on it.
But that's beautiful. I mean, if you think about it, the 90s, that was so beautiful about the 90s was the scene and the shows, not just in punk rock, but in just about everything
Yeah.
else.
I
Was
think it was like 91. We took, I think, 2 carloads of kids from King City, and it was an all-age show. It was a Bad Religion show.
nice.
And
to the Catalyst.
no,
No?
it was in San Jose somewhere. I can't remember, or Santa Clara.
Wait, what year was it?
91.
One Step Beyond? No.
Was
No,
it
I
at
think-
the Edge?
The Edge.
No, I think it was called like the Starlight or something like. I can't remember.
Oh,
Stacks, your
Bob
microphone's not
Graham
picking
said
up.
he went to that.
That was
Yeah, no, we took Bob. Yeah,
Yeah.
That
we took Bob. We took Renee.
Mm-hmm.
I think we
Mhm.
took. I can't. I don't know if you came, Gabby, or not. I can't.
I don't remember if I went.
Foggy. There was in the middle of the pit. There was a bunch of skinheads. Bad ones, not good ones.
Yeah.
And they were just like,
Bonehead.
yeah, boneheads. They were just like, I got socked in the face, and I was like lucky. I'm like, that dude's hand was so big, he didn't break my nose, but he like punched me right in the forehead. I was like, whoa. And then during the band before, I think it was like Coffin Break, maybe,
I remember Coffin
or
Break.
Coffin Wheel, Coffin Break, Coffin Wheel. Anyway,
No, Coffin
were-
Break.
yeah, and they were because they were on Epitaph. Coffin Break was on Epitaph.
Yeah.
It was all Epitaph. One of the boneheads jumped, like was stage diving, and everybody just went and just boom, landed right on his
Amazing.
head, and they all left because they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be like that." So so it was like, but it was like it was crazy because we had like me and Felix had all these like little
Sorry.
kids that we were all responsible for, and we're just like, I'm like, hey, have you seen so and so? Because I think Rory, Matt Burns went. I think we just piled everybody, and I think it was like us and maybe Dave Banuelos was driving.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was driving or not, but it was mayhem. But
Crazy time.
we all wanted to go see Bad Religion. We all love Bad Religion. So.
That venue is still a venue, but it's called something else.
Yeah. It's like it had a park. It was like weird standalone kind of like it had a big parking lot.
Yeah, I know exactly. It's right on the San Jose Santa Clara border.
Right.
And it's like a decent size for San Jose, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's a venue. Again, it shut down for a long time, and then they reopened it, but they don't have anything worth a crap there. But I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah.
Stacks, I have a question for you.
Yeah, sorry. No, go X.
Oh no, I was going to ask. How old were you when you started playing with Felix?
It was about like 13, going on 14.
Put your microphone a little bit closer, bud.
Yeah, I was about like 13, going on 14.
What do you think was the biggest difference playing with him the first time versus playing with him in your later years?
Dang.
They were actually good.
Different instruments.
that was good. We did a lot of cool shit.
Stuff was cool, but
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
But you were playing bass and stuff. You were playing bass and stuff, and then talk about how you picked up the guitar.
Oh yeah, so
like in 3 months.
And
you started playing behind your back. Like,
he's not. We're not joking about that because I was there when that happened.
I'm gonna try to answer X's question first.
All right.
I think it was just different because by the time I joined Los Drivers, I was like an adult. I was like an adult now, and I was like, not living in King City at that point. I like moved out of town, and I moved up to Watsonville, moved in with Davey, and it's different. It's like more exciting, I guess. It was the unknown. So gonna traverse into the unknown and make shit happen. But yeah, the way I joined the band is really funny because Hector and Felix because I would go to the Heaver shows. I would go to the Heaver shows before I joined, and one day Hector and Felix sat me down. They're like, "Hey, I think we have a feeling that Max and Noe's they're gonna cut out. I don't think they're feeling it anymore. So we want you to play guitar." And I was like, "But I play bass." And then they're like, "But you can do it. You can play guitar." No, but I play bass. And they're like, "No, I've seen you." Like Felix says, "I've seen you play guitar. You can play guitar." And I was like, "All right." And then so Hector was like, "Here's a CD. Just learn the songs. Just practice them whenever you can." I grabbed that thing. I practiced it like 3 times a day. Just the whole album, just playing it. Note for just. I'm like, well, I'm gonna arrange this a little different. I'm gonna do this instead. But I remember Hector was like, "Hey, I know you want to come to the show tonight, but I think this might be the last. Shit might go down, so just hang back." And I was like, all right, cool. I'll hang back. So then, I think it was like 7 a.m. My phone was ringing the next day, and it's Hector and Felix just both like, "You're in, dude. You're in. Blah, blah, blah. They fucking left, and we didn't have to say anything." Blah, 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 blah. I was like, "Hey, calm down. Hold on. I was like, "Hold on. What's going on? What's happening?" They quit. They just quit on there. "You're in. You're playing guitar." And I was like, "All right, cool." Like set up to practice, and just started driving up to Watsonville, just practicing, and
And that is a legitimate, true story. I think it took Stacks 3 months might be giving him credit.
Yeah.
I think it was less than that.
Yeah.
No, I was ready to hit the ground running, dude.
No, I know.
And I think that goes back to Stacks and why he was getting kicked out of school is like a lot of people think ADHD is
hyperfixation.
But with Stacks, it is a hyperfixation, like living with them.
Damn. Getting diagnosed and shit.
I'm sorry, Davey, you did.
he gets
intervention.
No, it's no, like it's one of those things where I'm like, I wish I had that focus for stuff. I'm such a half-ass at so much stuff.
See,
Planchaba los calzones and shit.
I hyper fixate on like dumb shit that doesn't make me any money.
Yeah. Oh well, this doesn't either. Like
Yeah, well, no, I know.
none of
But
us,
at least it gets you.
none of us picked like money making careers. Like I played music that like I fell in love with a bunch of different music that there's no fucking way you're ever gonna make any money with it. So
well, you did go on tour with
I
Hank.
was talking
Hank for a long time.
more to Stax's tattoo hyperfixation.
Oh no, that's no.
Which also happened in a short.
Which happened
period.
very quickly,
Very
and
quickly.
like
We'll get to that one. We'll get to that one later.
Let's get
9
some.
months, he was an amazing.
You know, and I got into that because of Felix. You know, he was getting tattooed, and he became friends with those guys and with the tattooers in Gold Coast and stuff. And those guys had bands, and then we were playing together, and then I started getting intrigued by the tattoo world, and you know, like I wouldn't have been
like how
I wouldn't be
many,
doing that
like,
if it wasn't for Felix.
Like how many people you would see at like Heaver shows, especially like in Watsonville, especially, but even like at Santa Cruz shows or whatever that were inspired for whatever because of Felix. Like they just thought that he was the coolest. He was the coolest. He is the coolest.
And being his little sister and just growing up with him, it was always like that. We would move around so much. And like I never had friends. I mean, I think I said this, and he would just make friends so quickly. And then they'd like me because he was cool, but it wasn't really because me. It was because of him. Like And so he always just he was. I used to call him a social butterfly because he would just go for
there's like just like something about him that just like draws people in.
Totally.
Hey, Eddie, what's the song you're gonna pick,
and why?
Let's see. What other stuff? Do you guys have the stub stuff? Does anyone have the stub stuff?
Yeah, I have the. It's the first. I have it all, but it's all one track, so I can play the first few minutes and whatever order that is.
Are we only picking bands that he was in?
Yeah,
and more.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't have to.
We don't have to.
There is no rules here.
One of my favorite stub songs, and it's one that he wrote. One that he wrote is called "Gone with the Schwinn."
Oh God.
And he wrote that when someone stole his
bicycle, right?
Yeah.
And I just before we play the song,
he was bummed.
That it's just his songwriting skills. I'm just like with the new band we were playing in. I'm sorry, Stax, to take your, but just his songwriting skills are just so good. Like he just was since we were kids, he just could write songs like nobody.
Even in like POE, like a lot, like it was starting to develop where like once we got like close to the end, like he was doing most of the
picture right there.
This photo trips me out. It looks like AI generated.
Because you're all.
You guys are all angry.
Gorditos and shit, dude. Yeah, no. But it looks like one of those AI generated photos.
It's not
because you have 6 fingers.
Yeah, that'd be cute.
Tacos were not safe around those boys.
No,
they're not safe around those boys.
No more chin strap fucking beards. Nobody.
Well, let's go on and listen to some stub music. How's that sound?
Do it.
Mi Vecindad.
What time is it, guys?
Oh, I totally remember this song, dude.
We're at 54 minutes. You said you wanted to keep it under 2? Or at 2?
Yeah. Well, let's try to shoot for 90 if we can, but there's no rhyme or reason.
Okay.
Costumes to make.
Hey, Bones.
I could do 90 minutes on myself, dude.
Dude, our podcast is like 2.5 hours every day.
Yeah.
Bones, I have a question.
I'm just here to talk to Gabby.
Because we don't talk every day.
The photo that I took 3 photos of you guys when you were at the stage, like the final photo.
Yeah.
And Mijo wasn't smiling the entire time, which I mean I get it, right?
Yeah.
But you there's a literal 2 seconds where I captured 3 photos and you whisper in his ear, and he just started fucking laughing so hard. What did you
No,
tell
I
him?
can get him. I can get him. I can get him to laugh. I tickle him too. Because I let I see him every week all the time. So I tickle him and make him laugh. And I'm glad you got that too. That was Nicole showed me that on Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
And I was like, I'm so glad he caught that because it is hard.
I'll print those for you, bud.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna stop by. I'm gonna try to stop by pretty soon. Are you there every day over there or no?
Yeah, I'm here every day except Mondays.
Okay.
But no, I was wondering because when I was editing them, like he wasn't, smiling nothing. Which, like I said, but it's just that one moment where it was cool with all you guys.
Yeah, no, I get them all the time.
Johnny, what was this one called? Johnny Crudo.
How many people are gonna be there?
I can't hear you, Aaron.
Are you gonna be there? No.
I think we can hear you.
Why don't you repeat yourself, Aaron? We didn't hear.
Aaron?
I'm not muted. I don't know what's happening.
No. What did you say?
I was saying on Saturday I have the prayer candles with Felix's face on them and whatever, and I'm gonna bring them. I have one for Davey and Wes and Hector and Gabby.
Sweet.
Radical. I know. I saw those evictions.
I did mute myself because my dogs are being menaces.
Yep.
I thought it was just the horns overpowering you.
No, my dogs are.
So
I have 2 pit bulls and they growl.
What is this, Stack?
Huh?
What's
Well, I think the problem is, Stax, you're putting your microphone in your ear.
No, it's my earbud.
I think you let me sit in it.
Yeah.
I think it's isolating Jefe.
Hi, Gabby.
Hi, sweetie. How are you?
Hey, buddy.
Hi, Gabriel.
It's me from the future.
Oh,
Hey, we got your half brother
don't
down
get him
there.
started. Your half brother.
You're not my little brother. No.
Not.
Goddamn right, I'm not the little brother.
Don't let these guys.
All right, as soon as this song's done, then we'll.
You
Okay.
look like the Walmart version of me.
Wow. Burn.
Damn.
You guys gotta.
Also,
You guys
This would
gotta.
be a
he
good.
looks like me if I went through.
You guys got a comment that says best memories growing up.
Yeah.
Were
Wish.com
Los Triangle shows, Second Street
and
Youth Center,
Walmart.
Ramsey Park.
Yeah.
So,
Gee, this would be a good time to segue into you and how you met Stubbs and you brought them to KCSC.
Oh God, I remember
Okay.
that. I was there.
All right. So what's going on? What's happening?
We're sharing stories.
What are we doing?
We were listening to Stubb. How many tracks did we listen to? Two tracks?
Three tracks.
Three?
Three tracks,
Okay.
man. Yeah.
Um,
I'll tell you. Let me start by saying that recently I was doing some consultation work in
There he is.
Watsonville,
There's Wes.
Wessel, and Felix's name came up because of what most of you guys were saying. You know, he was very influential in making sure that we weren't. For me, the way I was seeing it is I was just having fun, and I really loved the music. Right? I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I had no idea. I really did not know what I was doing. I just knew I had to put the music on the radio because I needed to have more of my people listening to my music. That's it. I didn't even have music. Hector would call me and say, "Hey, do you have any fucking 2 minutos?" Or, "Hey, do you have some fucking
Escorbuto. Yeah.
escorbuto? Fucking anything that was like punk?" And I was like, finally, I said, "You know what? Why don't you fucking bring it, man?"
And then I brought Manny.
So I said, "Bring it."
And
So
then I
going
got all
back,
messed
so
up.
and then
No, that wasn't part of the deal.
yeah. So but while all this was happening, Felix was so like connected, and like I said, I was listening at with Ramiro actually, and he said it. He said, bands like Stubbs, bands like Los Dry Heavers, Caradura, they kept a lot of the of our gente away from gangs because they got into music because of what we were doing. I didn't know that was happening. I didn't know I didn't know that was a reality. And now that you guys are talking about Felix, I'm realizing that's exactly what happened. He was instrumental in our community.
Well, there's
Yeah.
a comment from Darth Papi 831, and this homie writes, best memories
Where are
growing
you
up
seeing that?
were at Los Driver shows, 2nd Street, at the
Oh.
Youth Center, and Ramsey Park. And that was literally 20 to 20 some odd years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys remember those shows?
Yeah.
Back at even 2nd Street, that was one with
Boom
Fun
Boom.
People. Boom Boom.
Fun,
Yeah.
Boom Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Fun People
So-
we did here in the
so
living room.
so then one thing that was the one thing that it's never, I tell the story a lot, but it turns out that Felix was sticking out from his bedroom window, his antenna from his radio,
Yep.
so that he can tune in to what we were doing. So he was tuning in. He somehow he found us, right? So and then he got a hold of me and he was like, "Hey, I have a band." And I'm like, we always had our door open. We literally had our door. We had all kinds of stuff happening at KZSC, man. Literally, there was always alcohol.
Yeah.
There was always
Hot damn.
more than one person hanging out with us, and there was always a party happening while we were on the radio. At the beginning it was just me. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. Anyway, so it was Felix that he told me the story. He said, "Yeah, I listened to you." It's like, and I'm like, "Really, all the way over there in King City?" He goes, "Yeah." I was like, "What do you do?" He goes, "I'm like, I was tripping out." He goes, "Yeah, I stick my antenna outside the window out of my bedroom, and that's how I'm able to capture your signal." I was like, "Holy shit!" I didn't know how expansive and how we extended so much. But again, going back to Felix. So and then I was like, "Yeah, come over, man. Fuck yeah, bring your music. What do you have?" He goes, "Well, we're just starting, and I think he had a cassette or something, like he would record it on a 4-track."
Yep.
On a 4-track or something, right? And he
Yeah,
comes
with
over,
Charlie
and then
McGovern.
I had totally forgotten about it, but Chivo reminded me. Fuckers came over, all three of them with backpacks,
Yep.
and they were empty
I was-
backpacks.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were really thin backpacks when they walked into the studio. And
James Spitz.
outside of the cabin, KZSC,
Yeah.
there's this
Library.
huge area of library of CDs,
It's
vinyls,
heaven.
cassettes,
Heaven.
and your poster says, "Please do
Do not
purge."
steal. Yeah.
Well, I remember Gabby walking out and Stacks, and they're walking out with their backpacks, and now it's like bulgy.
Bull.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's
Bull.
dude.
I know.
You're fabricating the story, sir.
It's
No, I'm not, man. I know exactly what you did, Stacks.
So that's my story. That was the when again his he was a bridge. He was a literal bridge to our community in many ways and for many reasons, and obviously impacting in many ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
uh-huh.
how about this then?
Yeah.
Now you pick your favorite song.
You know what? I'll tell you, man. Borracho Agresivo is. I mean, there's a lot. Curvas Peligrosas.
Oh
When I
yeah.
heard that.
I wrote that.
Oh yeah.
I
Oh
wrote the
man.
lyrics. I get
Oh,
no credit.
oh really? Oh man.
Yeah, you didn't know. See, you didn't know.
See, I didn't know.
That's
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I like that song because
Uh,
I wrote it. Thank you.
Oh, you just found out now, Aaron.
No,
Like
you
right
didn't know.
now.
Me? No,
You didn't
I
know
actually
that.
did already know that.
I texted her. I was like, I'm writing a song for the Dry Heavers right now.
Yeah.
I actually did already know that.
I was in the room. I contributed.
No, you
I
didn't.
contributed. It's
He
like the
contributed.
Caradura. When I put Caradura in the studio, we all contributed to that first song.
Yeah.
Like we
Hector
none of
told me-
us.
Does everyone know what that
Tell me
song's
lame.
about?
Curvas Peligrosas. It's about
Yeah, does
Stacks,
everyone-
Stacks walking into a bar.
Con dos gorditas cuerpo de uva que lo hicieron hamburguesa.
Ay!
Yeah.
Was it a smash
I
burger?
wrote that.
yeah.
Oh, no, it was
I'll
a
be the
torta. It wasn't a
small.
burger. It was a torta.
It was a burger.
Torta ahogada.
All right, so why don't you play
Okay.
Curvas Peligrosas right now?
Vámonos con
Alright.
curvas peligrosas.
No paren.
So Hector had. Oh, are we on?
No, he's playing music.
Okay.
We're
So,
live on all the other
Hector
stuff.
literally had one line was curvas peligrosas, and then I was
A
like,
bit more
"Fine."
than that.
That's all you freaking had.
And then
dude.
Hector's probably like, how do you spell that?
Curvas.
How do I
Listen to
spell it?
that riff, dude.
Well,
So,
going back,
the night before.
yeah.
It was the night before. He still didn't have lyrics.
Well, I mean, going back to the Caradura album, the best track on there was Rulas from Lodo y Asfalto doing the opening track, and he spewed that out. Remember, Manny, you were there, right? He did that
Yeah.
live with like 15 minutes, and he was drunk, like beyond drunk. And that was an amazing track. You know, nothing to do with Caradura, but it was an amazing track. You know. Fun times.
I hear like a baby in the back.
You have a baby in the background?
No, I hear a baby in the background.
No, it's my dog. She's just.
It's not mine. He's in the shower. Wah. It's
All right.
It's Hector.
Where's Mancillo at? Where did Mancillo go?
He's stepping out. He's getting more beer. That's what G and Manny like leave, and they come back with full pints. I can hear you, Wes. Speak again. No, now I can't. Weird.
No,
Okay.
can
I
you?
can't hear Wes.
So let's go back live. We'll advertise the shit done. So you're going to be coming on after me. Oh, she left.
Is my mic not working again?
Your mic is working now, dude.
Your mic's
Yeah,
working.
is it? Oh, okay.
All right,
All
dude,
right.
let's come back live. All right. So I think that kind of, if we're going to look at the time frame of all these stories, then I think I'm next. So Stub starts coming to KZSE, and it was almost always Felix, Stax, and Gabby, right? Sometimes Eddie, but he was really quiet most of the time. So it was almost always Stax and Eddie and Gabby. Well, Stub started playing with the band that I was playing with quite a bit around that time. We started trading shows and just like doing it kind of like what G was talking about. We had a scene going from Santa Cruz, Watsonville, all the way down to King City, and we just started connecting it and connecting the dots. And we started playing quite a bit together. And then at some point in 1998, wait, did I just get booted?
No.
What?
You're still
No, you're
here.
still
You're
there,
still
dude.
here.
So you
Okay.
no, you guys own the fucking salad bowl, dude.
Oh, there you go.
I know. I
There
think
you
he
go.
muted. I
Yeah.
think it's his connection.
What'd you do,
Uh-oh.
Gabby? What'd you do?
Gabby took
Yeah,
all the
all right.
bandwidth.
Yeah.
I took
Oh, there he
all
is.
Yeah.
All
Well,
the bandwidth.
we got to tell the girls to like get off their devices.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we started playing quite a bit together and creating un desmadre in our scene. And through that, I connected with Gabby. And Gabby and I started dating. And I remember Felix coming up to me and he started, he went up to me and he's like, and he was, we all know Felix. He was a pretty tough guy, especially back then. And he took me to the side and he goes, and it was that one awkward moment where I was like, man, all right, man, this is going to get super awkward. It's either going to get like ugly awkward or I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me. And, Stax is laughing because he's like, yeah, well, I was in the background. I was ready to
Yeah,
jump.
he told me.
And Stax, Felix goes, you know what? But I like you. But if you break her heart, then I break your face. And I'm like, okay, deal.
Get wrecked.
That's a good deal, right?
Yeah. So we continued to play, and then a few months later, I think Stub fell apart.
Don't say it like that though, dude. Like, oh, it just fucking fell apart.
Well, it did. It was the
Disbanded,
band.
dude. We
It
just
still hurts, right?
It was the band that we didn't want to see the band fall apart, and it,
Yeah, everyone started
and then
going to college, just moving out of
yeah.
town, out of state, out of country.
You lost
You
your
know?
whole horn section. Like
Yeah.
it fell
At
apart.
one point, we were an 11-piece band.
Yeah, that's
Oh
too
my
much.
goodness.
That
We
is
had
way too
7
much.
horn players at one point.
That is called ridiculous, dude.
That's a lot of pito.
Painful.
Yeah.
Sound guys hated
is, right?
us.
Yeah.
Hey, Stocks, how much did you guys pay Mr. Graham for all of those horn players?
Seriously.
Dude, that guy helped us out more than anything.
Oh yeah,
Him and
absolutely.
Joe, you guys didn't know Joe.
Mr. Maestas.
Maestas?
Yeah.
That dude, we got A's in advanced graphics for printing punk rock shirts in the back room.
Yeah.
Like he taught Felix he taught us all how to do screen printing, all of that stuff.
Nice.
So like that dude was
Didn't Roger live with him for a while?
Yeah. In Santa
Oh
Cruz.
no, yeah, Roger lives with them, yeah.
In Santa Cruz.
In Salinas, like right around when I lived in Salinas, it was right around the corner from my house.
That's a great portrait that you did, X.
Awesome.
It's so good.
beautiful. So
So
beautiful.
Stub started falling apart, and then
My kid is talented.
Not falling apart. They were
Okay,
just
well.
moving, getting married, going to college.
Moving on.
Life.
Well, then Caradura a
started
few
having-
months later basically fell apart, and
They for sure fell apart.
Yeah, I was there.
yeah, we fell apart. And
Stub all over.
we at that point, not Stacks yet, but Felix and I were jamming out with original Wessel from General Hospital and Nick the
Fast
Face,
package.
Fast Package. That's right.
Oh my God.
And we started
Slinky
like
brat.
jamming, and I think Nick the Face. It always happens in the Heavers. He fell in love and he moved away, and it was just like that's the story of the Heavers. Like, the drummers always fall in love with somebody and fall away.
Dude, the face is fancy now.
Yeah, he's super fancy. Dude,
He looks expensive.
He does look expensive.
Looks expensive.
When we were at the viewing, he said hi, and I go, "Oh, the face," and Gabriel goes, "The face of what?" I was like, "Just the face,
The world. Everything.
the face of the world."
The world.
All right, well, let me wrap this up. I'm going somewhere with this. Guy.
Go.
Fucking get there.
We already did the curvas. What are you doing now?
Yeah.
So, long story short, we ended up stealing Stacks. We started getting all this stuff. All right, okay, we're gonna cut to the chase.
Like hawks that just swooped in on me.
The proudest song that I feel that we ever wrote is, I'm going to go with Padre Obrero. Felix and I put a lot of work into that one. We all did.
That's a great song.
There was a lot of stuff that we kind of tweaked out to make sure that it was just caring in a weird way, and it was one of those pinnacles that, like, there's a few moments playing Stacks with you and Felix that, like, I look back and they were like proud moments. And one was on that tour in Mexico when we opened up for Toxico, and I thought we were going to get killed. You remember that? Well, we thought we were going to get killed, like straight up, like stabbed. And they
And it was that the Mexico tour, or was that the Southwest when we ended up in Juarez?
No, that was the Mexico tour.
Well, there was a few times where we thought we were going to get killed. So.
Yeah, Juarez was definitely one of them.
It's not narrowing it down.
This one was different. And they gave us a bag of burritos and a crate of caguamas. That was part of our payment.
Nice.
And we thought that everybody was going to bounce out when Toxico played, because the guy had just gotten out of prison. He's very like Roger Merritt. He was slinging drugs, and he got busted, and he went to jail for what was it, like 5-6 years? Gee, do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like, they got back together again when he got out of jail, and they were doing this. And Atoxico is kind of like the agnostic front of Mexico.
Mexico.
We were all excited, like, man, we're playing with these guys. And they walked up to me and Felix and Stax and said, well, we want you guys to headline, and we want to play before you guys. And I remember me and Felix looked at each other going, like, fuck that, dude. I mean, that's not headlining. We're playing last. These guys are going to play, and everybody's just going to bounce out. And we agreed to it because, there are elders and all that good stuff, and we wanted to be cool. And they played, and it was packed, man. It was packed. It was like a small club, but it was packed to the rafters. And then I was convinced that, like, I was halfway to drunk, and I was convinced that, like, they're going to pull a Chaos UK on my white ass and just beat the crap out of me and stab me while I'm playing, I'm going, these guys these dirty punks from Chopo were just going to, like, just destroy me, man. I remember telling walking to Stacks and Felix, I'm going like, hey, vatos, when we're playing, if I get, like, shanked, you guys got my back, right? And they're like, yeah. Stacks like, I'm gonna drop kick people. I'm like, yeah, bro, you're not gonna get kicked off the ground.
Street Fighter and shit.
Yeah. And
music.
And
Everybody knows his pants are too tight to do that.
yeah, exactly. So we ended up going on, and we played, and none of these kids left. So I'm thinking, like, okay, they're gonna kill me. They actually started singing along.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Like, and start singing along. And we had no distribution in Mexico. I mean, yeah, there's pirated.
It's called Chopo.
And I guess the guys from Atoxico were right. The kids were there to see us.
That's really cool.
So, long story short, at the end of the show, we were done playing, and I remember going back to the bag of burritos and the case of caguamas, sitting there. And I remember, like, Felix sat down with me, and we're all sweaty and dirty and gross. And I started crying. And I started telling him, like, I remember sharing dreams that Felix and I had, like, when we were kids. Going like, man, I just want to play on the Gilman stage. And if 5 kids are into it, man, we did it. And we got a chance to do that. And we did it. And I remember saying, I want to play Mexico City at a real punk rock club in front of real punks and actually do it. And we did it. So I was drunk and I was crying saying, man, Felix, I think we did it. The Hebrews did it. Anyways, Padre Obrero was one of those songs that, I think when I listen to that song in the Hebrews, I go, yeah, Stax, we did it. That's our cue, G. Play the stupid song.
Play the song.
I'll start fucking crying.
Héroe de la clase obrera, rey de la guarachera, luchando contra la miseria, la pobreza es mi compañera.
Good lyrics too, dude.
Yeah,
I see those are not mine.
You guys were recording at the compound
with Joe,
and like hearing the rough cut of that, I was just like, dude, that is my jam.
Yeah.
It was so good. I remember Corey like insisting that the album be called Words of Surrender.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Well,
and we were all like, why?
Yeah, what's
Words
the
of
story behind
Surrender.
that?
Okay, there's a secret song that I don't have access to. I think Joe might
He must.
from
If you recorded
Lorelei.
it with Joe.
It's one of the hidden ones.
No, we wanted it to
Didn't
be
make it,
hidden, but
right?
it didn't make it. When we went in and we recorded that at the compound, we were all on benders. Like even Joe, we were all on benders. Joe was eating pills like
Dude, handfuls of pills.
Yeah, it was like it was like it was fun times. But we had no lyrics for Words of Surrender. I had a hard time coming up with stuff for that song because
Yeah,
Corey
I
pretty much
co-wrote
wrote.
with Russ, dude.
That's what I'm getting at. You know, Russ like sat down and pretty much just started like just writing.
Yeah, he was like, Eddie, what you got for me? I'm like, all right.
And but do you remember that Russ went into the booth and he actually did the vocals to Words of Surrender?
Yeah.
You know?
He did it for a few songs.
And
There's
then
a few
I sat
songs
there,
that
but that one in particular, dude. And I was just like, I go cut it, put it on the album, and I got no ego. It could just be Russ, you know, with the dry, you know, like because there was actually.
yeah, he didn't go for it.
He didn't go for it.
I remember when you told me about that.
Yeah, there's a track somewhere there.
I'm sure Joe has it.
We're gonna come.
Yeah, I think he did that for a few songs, where it's like Russ singing the entire song.
That's so crazy.
Hector's like, cool. I'm going home.
I'm going home. So that was my Felix bit, and I think we're gonna go by the timeline. I think Wes, you might be next.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah. So I met Felix. I was slinging merch for Uzi Suicide, the band out of Santa Cruz at the time. And,
Hollister. I hate when bands never claim where they're from.
Oh yeah.
Uzi Plebe.
Oh my god. So yeah, the funny part is I remember when they opened up at the shitty mini golf that opened up outside of Hollister, like out in a field, in the middle of a field.
Yeah. So you used to book Uzi all the time over there in Hollister and put on shows in Hollister.
Yeah. And
Jose and Matt from Uzi were my ex-husband's roommates when I met him.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I didn't know that, Aaron.
No, yeah, we did because when we met them.
Right
well, I have a bad memory. So.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that.
I didn't know.
No, just FYI. Anyway,
we'll talk later, Aaron.
Word.
So
because I want to know more.
I partied with you guys a couple times, a couple houses in Salinas, just kind of like sideshows when Max and Noe were still part of the band. And then I kind of followed you guys around, and there was one show in particular up at the UC here in Santa Cruz, and a basement show where I really connected with you, Hector. You were selling a copy of Crazy Taxi on your merch table for the PlayStation 2, and I was like, what, dude, you guys are a bunch of nerds?
Oh man, how drunk was I? Was I trying to make money?
Was it PlayStation or was it Dreamcast?
PlayStation 2.
It was PlayStation 2.
Yeah. And so, you know,
Wes never forgets a console.
Yeah. Anyways, Wes, keep going.
So, fast forward maybe that year or maybe a year later, I'm still slinging merch for Uzi, and I go outside because I'm just kind of tired of some of the scene kids showing up trying to get scene points, and I see Felix just kind of chilling by himself. You know, this is before or like right when you guys were recording the second album, and I walked over. And I'm like, hey, dude, how's it going? My name's Wesso, you know? And we kind of just started talking about being older punk rockers in the scene and just not having any time for the bullshit. And, like, just we started, like, really geeking out about music, you know? Trading, like, oh, have you heard this band? Oh, have you heard this band? And, like, we're kind of bromancing, to be honest with you.
Who hugged first?
Hey, I never kiss and tell, baby, all right? What happens on tour stays on tour. Don't be jealous.
I had a closet.
Reno.
Oh God.
Oh my God! Yeah, when you killed Uzi Suicide, that was great. Excuse me. When
I think Stax did that one. Stax did that.
That was a metamorphosis, a changing in the sound and style. And when Uzi Suicide changed sound and style, I had to go my own path. And so I was a rogue agent. And I was talking with you and I was talking with Felix, and there was this poll you guys had on MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
And it was like, hey, do you want to go on tour? Do you want to sell our t-shirts? And I was like, yeah, you know what? Let me. I'm gonna be like the one dude that's gonna reply to this because it's gonna be like all the hot girls, like, oh, I want to go on tour with the Los Dry Heavers.
No,
Literally,
that's,
no girls wanted to go on
no.
tour.
I had to.
That's the
We're
girl
too
that went
fat and
on
old.
tour with the Dry Heavers.
We're too fat and old. And like,
Me and
no.
Gabby were the only girls
only girls.
that could
That's what
hang.
I'm saying.
Yep.
Anyway.
I got a story about that one too.
Oh no.
Wait,
So I
was
think
I
it
not
was either
doing merch
you or
anymore,
Felix.
Wes?
What's that?
Was I not doing merch anymore at that? Like, did I?
I think
did I
I
quit?
think
I
we
quit.
kind of were, and like, what was those? There was like 3 other younger ladies that were hanging
Oh, I
out.
think I was over it. Yeah, I was done.
Yeah, you were D-O-N-E.
Damn.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Hurtful.
yeah, whatever, man. I'm in college. I got time. I'm in college. I am a student. And then so like I got a message from like either Hector or Felix. I can't quite remember that far back. Too many beers. And I was like, yeah, I guess I can hang out with you guys, and like the rest is history, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh, I guess I'll hang out with you guys. I'll give you guys a shot.
Yeah.
I know what happened.
Famous last words.
He's like 10 years later.
10 years later, you're working at the bar with Felix.
Yeah, he got me hired as a bar back one night. I was already doing shows there, and I was doing security for mostly shows. Sometimes I'd work the front door.
They fired you as security, Wes. I remember that.
They didn't fire me for nothing.
From security, they did.
They didn't fire me for nothing. I remember I was sitting there one day having a pint, and Pretty Dave walks over and goes, "Hey man, you want to wash some dishes?" I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And so I start washing dishes after Felix had talked to me a little bit. He's like, hey, man, here's how you do the stuff behind the bar. Like, he kind of took me under his wing and kind of showed me how things are done at the Blue. Because I'd worked at another bar years before. It was like a place in Hollister, and it's changed names since then, so I'm not even going to bring it up. But it's a little tiny place that didn't have a lot of business. And so working in a high volume, at the time, nightclub, it takes a lot of practice and a lot of finesse. And we got along together because we already knew how to be around each other, like I wasn't under his foot, as a roadie, band, I like to call myself the merch bitch or the band wrangler, it's my job to not be seen and stay out of the way, but get things done, And so I got hired on as a bar back at the Blue because I can just keep my head down and get the work done. Yeah. I worked with him and Corey.
And the rest is history. Years.
Yeah, I was there. I bar backed for about 6 years, and then I started bartending when another bartender quit, and I was there for another 7 years.
Long time. Long time.
It's a lot of work. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
every
what's?
time. No, you had.
What's your song?
Oh, it's the one that Hector always got mad at me when I would say, play this song. And of course, he plays it the other night. He sings it the other night at the last one. One of my absolute favorites that I'd always request if they forgot the lyrics to was Triste Canción, please.
Oh, Triste Canción.
That's my favorite.
Espérate. Let me get it.
God, you're slow already.
Es because Tres Pecados.
Somebody hit the
Catastrophe.
He's working on it.
Own way. Corazón de Oro.
The face texted me and he said that he's not expensive. Felix just taught him how to look good.
Yeah.
Or dress nice, I think he said.
Yeah.
I don't even have Nick's phone number, man.
Or he was on Instagram or something.
All right, let's
What's the
continue
damn song,
with
D?
Triste Canción. Here we go. Why wouldn't you like to play it?
No, we like the song. It's just when we got lineup changes, and by the time we got Dax, this is going to segue into Manny next because we're going to talk about the second album. Now, Manny's known Felix as long as I have, which is a gazillion years. But yeah, I think he has a different. It's Manny, but Manny's going to have a different perspective. Manolo always has this weird, like, enunciate, fucker, enunciate.
Yeah, fucker.
Oh yeah, that whole recording sessions for the second album, that was great.
No, it
Hector.
wasn't great. He was tortured, dude. He tortured me, dude.
It
What are you
was,
talking about?
it was awesome.
It was
Hey,
great, dude.
Hector.
Yeah.
Hector, you remember who tried out for bass before Corey?
You did. I honestly banked on you.
Dude, it sucked because I was so wrapped up with Upright,
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
I was like,
the thing is,
I wish
Felix had me 110% convinced.
Yeah.
So Dave's got this. Like I didn't know you personally. Like you were coming
Yeah.
off tour with Hank 3, and you had just
Well, I was with Wayne, but
Wayne Hancock.
Wayne Hancock, and I was friends.
Wayne Brady.
Wayne Brady. No, Wayne Hancock. But I'm friend. But what's funny is Hank 3's hero is Wayne.
Okay.
And Wayne his hero is Hank Sr. So it's weird, but no, I got called for that gig too, and I was like, he wanted me to play the Ass Jack electric bass shit too, and I'm like, nope, I can't do. I'm not gonna do it because I suck so bad. I didn't start playing electric bass until like recently.
Gabby decided to come up and actually join.
I saw that. Yeah.
Nice.
She has to only speak in Wookiee now.
All right, so then let's tag up Manolo now.
Yeah,
Are we on the air? Yeah. Wow. So, yeah, basically, as long as I've known Gabby, I've known Felix, because it's a package deal, man. You te sacaste la lotería, güey. You know. God damn. When did I meet you guys,
What's
Gabby?
up, Manny?
When did I meet you guys? Was it
Okay, well, the first time I met you, Manny,
99?
do you remember?
It was earlier than that.
Well, I remember you guys picked me up at the.
Do you remember what you said to me?
You guys picked me up at the.
Yeah, do you remember what you said to me the very first time I met you? Okay,
What did I
so
say?
this is like the day before Hector was playing like this Ramones cover band thing, whatever, and he's like, this isn't the Ramones, right?
Can we stop that?
Yeah, and I was like, okay, yeah, I know it's not the Ramones. And then we go pick up his friend Manny at the airport, and we're in the car, and I was like, oh, put on some Stiff Little Fingers, and Manny's like, you know who that is? I was like, God, you guys,
dude, I love Stiff Little Fingers,
assholes.
man. It blew my mind.
So condescending. Just because I don't know, it's because I'm a girl,
Wow.
or I don't know, but they were like, you know these bands?
Yeah, don't wanna be nobody's hero.
Anyway, that's what I met Manny.
Don't wanna be nobody's star.
What he said to you
about what people
No,
who
your
walk for
dogs.
miles? Yeah, and then I think like a week later we were at a show, and then I had these new dogs I hadn't broken in, and we were walking. It was in San Jose, and we were walking, and I was complaining about my feet, and Manny's like, "Why are you complaining?" He's like, "Our people walk for miles."
Oh my god.
But that's when Manny
This
was
was,
on
this
the air
was,
with
this was at
Sideways.
the,
That's
this was
what
at
Manny I
the
remember.
end of the
Party
night,
with Manny
dude.
and you with his
At
long
the
hair was
end of the
sideways.
night,
Stuff was going
no
on.
filter.
But it's okay, Manny. I still love you. I don't know how. We all just,
Manny rules.
Like that would be like, oh my god, I love that guy. Let's hang out again. So that's how we met.
So I still remember that. But you know what I wanted to play? Because when I think of Los Dry Heavers, like what comes to me was when I heard the music coming from like following Cara Dura, recording their music and then the transition from Cara Dura, the ska punk band to Los Dry Heavers. Los Dry Heavers were like a big fuck you to a lot of the bullshit that was happening in the punk scene at the time, especially like in Santa Cruz. Things were just like too safe. And so my pick is Rug Barn Alley.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Because basically whenever the first time anyone heard that song, it called motherfuckers out.
That song's about stacks and
No, it's not.
No money. No money.
No, but Stax owns that song because when we started playing that live, do you remember how you would like control the stage, Snacks?
with his gyrations.
Yeah.
No, but that song, man, to me,
It was
has
my
a
it was
really
it was my
special place in
CC
my
DeVille
heart.
moment.
That's right, Dad. That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
All right,
glam
Jim,
rock, dude.
play some Rugburn Alley.
So here is a copy of the second album, Rough CD, that Hector gave me like 100 years ago.
That's before we got it
Damn.
mastered. And,
Yeah.
Okay.
We were partying
Is it
in
all-
your car out in front of Jim Dandy's because we totally don't drink at
Jim Dandy's. Who here remembers Jim Dandy's?
Ferndale. Yeah,
I
no,
do.
remember me and Jason? Remember
Oh,
the Halloween show where me and Jason were in suits and
Yep. And
lucha masks?
Lucha masks. Yep.
And we had the pinata.
That was you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fucking rad.
yeah. I drove there with the mask on and left with the mask on.
That's
Why not?
awesome.
And somebody,
Dude,
God damn it,
that was that sketchy
what was that?
spot off the
Yeah,
101,
yeah.
right?
It's
I
like
remember-
I go to there's a tire shop in the bottom. I go to it all the time now.
Like Jim Dandy's was so. I saw like a lot of big hardcore bands there.
It was a
That's
great
so
little
funny.
venue. It was a
It
great.
was a wild. It was
It's-
such a wild like mixture of. I saw like,
It's vacant. It's vacant right now. We should go rent it.
gosh,
We should
what
go
a
buy
dream.
turn it back into a venue.
That's how I feel about Club Cocodrie is still vacant in San Francisco.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, and I'm always like, man, I would love to have the money to turn that back into a venue. It was such a cool place.
I remember seeing a lot of shows there, playing a few shows there. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of San Jose, is the fucking Cactus Club
No.
still a thing?
No,
You're aging yourself, dude.
yeah, that closed down like a decade ago, probably or more.
Man, I used to see so many bands there. Like
Me
so
too.
many bands.
Yeah.
We played there with Uzi. We did merch there.
I saw Uzi Suicide there a lot. The Forgotten a lot.
Yeah.
Iron
Stub used to
Cross.
play there quite a bit.
Back in the day, yeah, this is all night.
I saw the Swingin' Utters there like 3,000 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played
The Business.
in
missed that show.
Santa Cruz. I played Palookaville.
Nice.
Oh man.
Does anybody
wow.
remember that place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great venue.
absolutely.
Yeah, I like
played
Palookaville, man.
did this lineup when I was with Wayne. It was Wayne, Mojo Nixon,
What?
and
Yeah.
and Ozo Motley.
Oh, I was
was the
gonna
lineup.
say, was it?
That's a
Motley,
lineup.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
That was the lineup. I'm all what?
I
And it
played
was-
one of the
it was-
last Palookaville shows there with a band I was in for a hot minute.
Kickstart?
And we played with Kickstart, and we played with Swingin' Utters.
Oh yeah, I remember Kick. I
Yeah.
remember when you were playing Kickstart. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually like Palookaville a little bit more.
Oh
than
hell yeah,
Cactus.
Palookaville was
For a
awesome.
moment, yeah, it was
was-
kind of doing better.
It was a little more wide open and a little not as.
Yeah.
I fucking can't even go to the Callus anymore. I fucking hate it. But
I saw who did I see? Oh, Toots and the Maytals at Palookaville.
Dude.
And it was incredible because they had
I saw-
played Music in the Park in San Jose, and then like later that night they played Palookaville, so I saw them like 2 times in one day, and I was just like, oh my gosh, it was amazing.
Or
I saw
Dude.
at the Catalyst. I saw Public Enemy at the Catalyst
Oh, that's amazing.
in
Nice.
in '91, and some shitty ass loud band opened for him, Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah.
wow.
I was like, this is horrible.
Dude, I'm fucking still pissed because Public Enemy was supposed to headline Gathering of the Tribes, and it had a bunch of bands that I was not
Yeah.
into, waiting around to see them, and I guess they had a problem with their flight
Oh
or something,
God.
and just pissed that
Oh,
they didn't make the
no.
show, man.
That night
Yeah.
they played 2 shows, and I got like tickets. Me and my girlfriend got tickets to the late show, and it was like on a Thursday, and they played, and they like it ended at like 2, and I was still
Oh,
in high
wow.
school. I had to go. I think I missed the next day. I was like, whatever, but
Public
Um,
Enema. Well,
I
Aaron,
remember at
I think you're up
and that's
next.
when it was good. They were good.
Palooka Villas, thinking it was the first time I saw Mr. Bungle too, and I was like, "This shit's fucking wild."
Like Mr. Bungle.
Dude, Mr. Bungle's awesome.
Yeah, it was weird. It was really wild. Okay. Well, I don't really know. I'm like the new kid on the block as far
No,
as
no, we got a newer one.
Oh well, that's because he's 12.
He's still a kid.
Yeah. But generally, I'm the newer kid because I think I have probably only known Felix for like 25 years instead of 35 years.
Yeah.
But I do remember how we met was on MySpace.
Really?
And he added me on MySpace and he goes, "Hey," he goes, "you should come see my band because we need more hot chicks at our shows."
Right on.
Classy.
Yeah. And I was like, word. And so he's like, we're playing at the Caravan in San Jose. And I was like, okay, I'll come. But I was already going because I was friends with Brandy. And Flo was Brandy's boss.
Yeah.
And so I was already going to go with Brandy. Like I had already planned on it. But he had said that to me on MySpace. And I showed, and he's like, dude, he's like, word, you're here. And I was like, well, yeah, but not because of you. And then we were just friends after that. It was like immediate. Like we were just friends. And I don't think Gabby was there.
She might have been playing, and at that point she had
Here Kitty and stuff.
Yeah. So they were playing quite a bit.
But I had met Gabby later because me and Brandy, Gabby made Brandy a Halloween costume and she brought it to her at this like giant mousetrap where we went in San Francisco, and then she was like there, and then I found out that she was Felix's sister, and then we were just friends immediately, and I was friends with Felix immediately, and everybody except for Hector, because I remember you were like a little slow to warm up to me.
Yeah, a lot of people, some people say that about me, but once you get to know me, I'm all right. I'm not that
all right, I guess.
It was like a solid 2 months of me being in the van and Hector with his headphones on playing his little Switch or whatever. And I don't know. It was like I immediately was just like friends with everybody, and I really loved hanging out with the whole band, and it was my new favorite thing.
I love the way that you and Gabby became like utterly best friends, but the relationship you had with Felix was like you were like that little sister or cousin. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like because you guys would argue. Like,
dude, he was weird.
He can be.
Like, like one time he got super mad at me because I wanted a hash brown from Carl's Jr. and he's like, it can only be my order. I'm not going to add anything else to my order. And I was like, what if I give you $1? He's like,
nope.
I will go somewhere else and buy different food. Yeah. And I was like, that's fucking weird. So forget the hash brown.
Stacks knows that. For real.
I used to love when me and Gabby would be hanging out and we would buy like a huge bottle of like $4 champagne. And Felix was living upstairs at the time.
Yeah.
And he would come down and he'd be like, dude, this shit is peeling the paint off of my walls. he was like, either go somewhere else or get better shit. And we would, and he would just do that because he wanted to come down and hang out. And we would, bust balls for a couple hours. And it was always kind of like that brother, sister, cousin type relationship because, that just, but I will never forget that's how it started. We need more hot chicks at our shows. Come to find out, there were no chicks at your shows.
Gabby, you just missed the whole yeah. But I've been meaning to send you a text, Aaron, but then I waited, and you're here, and I honestly have no words to express the amount of love that you showed all of us here, and Felix, what you did almost single-handedly a few weeks ago was
my whole life. I'm gonna say thank you, and it's not gonna be enough.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing I can say to you, Aaron.
You don't have to say anything.
I know, but you're gonna make me cry again. and now this goes out to like Stacks. I love you, so it doesn't matter. Same thing with Manolo. But Davey, X, Wessel, you guys showing up and just being with all of you guys that whole entire weekend. I love each and every one of you.
Love you too, man.
More than I did yesterday. And Felix used to say that a lot in Spanish, like "te quiero más que ayer." And I think most time it was a joke, but I mean that to each and every
I think Esteban said, like, we were talking about how like the friendship that we all have is like hard to come by.
Yeah. And you fuckers prove that so hard. So hard. Aaron, I will love you. Like, there's nothing you can do to break that love now. Like, you can pretty much stab me in the back a couple of times, and I'll probably still turn around and say, still love you.
Because I planned a party?
No.
An epic party.
It was not that. It was not.
Yeah.
It was
everything.
What you guys all did. I mean, and then I saw Davis there, and then I saw other guys, and then Dustin made me cry in a corner.
Oh, yeah.
You guys mean the world to me now more than ever. And I miss each and every one of you guys so much. And yeah, Davey, I was chewing you out that night. I was like, man, you only live like 17 miles from me, you know.
I see. Well, that was the thing. Is like before COVID, I was so happy that I was getting to see you guys and the girls all the time.
Yeah.
And, and I'm lucky that I get to see every week. I get to see Felix every week.
Get closer to the mic. I missed half of what you said.
My earbud things are dying. Or something.
There you go.
But my
No, I can't hear you at all. I think they did.
I'm lucky that I got to see Felix every week.
Yeah.
I get to see Bubba every week. I had to spend time with him. He tries to murder me.
Bucket toes.
I found out from Nicole that if he goes so hard with me because Felix would pay him if he submits me.
I didn't know that. I did not know that.
I'm on the hook now.
Well, you know your Uncle David, all of us, so it's like
no. And I told him, I go, okay. I told him the other day he was rolling with Alvin, and I go, every time you tap out, it's $5.
Yeah.
And I go, same goes for that guy, same goes for that guy. So I'm on the hook for that with him, but and I missed when you guys were coming before COVID to the gym and stuff. It was awesome. And I feel bad because I'm over there all the time, but it's just and it's just one of those things where, you know, at one point I lived down the street. I was over there all the time. We were all together, you know, and then like it was
Eating grandma's
it's like
tortilla.
it's like a band, you know, where one person moves, blah blah blah, and it gets kind of shuffled around. But at the end of the day, we're all family, I think.
Yeah.
And I mean, uh, and then meeting X and talking to him and going, oh motherfucker, your uncle, like we used to buy knives and lighters and wristbands and studded wristbands and stuff from the liquor store.
We're gonna get to X in a couple of minutes. We are gonna get to X.
It's no, man. The whole thing was. I mean, and I said it. I don't know how many times I said it when I was there. I go, this is the worst fucking possible scenario for all of us to be together, but fuck, we're together, and we were together.
We just gotta we gotta make up for it. Aaron,
Yeah, for sure.
favorite song and why?
Favorite Heaver
I
song?
I already played it, huh? Oh,
No, you
just
didn't.
play a song.
Actually, I
Okay.
have a favorite Heaver song that has not been played.
Oh,
And it's off the 7-inch.
okay.
Stand Up Tall and Proud.
Good stuff.
You can say the name of the 7-inch.
7 inches just for you.
For you.
That was all crummy
Which,
Corey.
coming from 5 Mexican guys is a pretty bold fucking.
And there was a rooster on the record.
Oh
Just
God.
on the record.
Anyways, with that being said, G, stand up
Yes.
tall and proud.
Stand up tall and proud.
Oh man.
What were you gonna pick, Aaron? What
Non-Heavers?
Yeah.
Pretty in Pink by the Psychedelic Furs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love psychedelic first.
Because he was pretty in pink. And he
Oh,
loved
yeah.
that picture of himself.
Yeah.
So good.
I remember that show. That was at
Me
Ali's
too.
party.
That was Ali's
Yeah.
I
Was it
know.
was it wedding or party? What was it?
No, it
It
was
was
his
his
like birthday.
Birthday,
Yeah.
okay.
There
I
it is.
didn't
That
know.
one,
Yeah.
that picture right there.
And that
I
was
just-
like all my stuff. And he
Yeah.
put it
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
That was a really weird night. Because it was literally just like us and like Spooky and Ollie and
Yeah.
Chris.
Yeah.
But you know what? We became really good friends with those guys.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
It was just funny because like he wanted you to play for his birthday, but then it was like you guys were his party.
You know, that's not the first time the Heavers have done that, sadly.
We are the party.
Yeah.
But like if that's one thing I loved about playing with all the guys in the Heavers is that like if we gave you our word that we're gonna go play your whatever it was, we would do it.
Yep.
There was this one time this mom contacted us and said, do you remember the Snacks? Like their kid was gonna turn, I don't know, 15 or something like that. He's I'm gonna throw a little backyard barbecue.
Emil, what was his name? Emil?
I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it was like
I remember
or like Emilio. I think it was Emilio. Yeah, and he was. Yeah, he was. Go on.
And they're like, and I'm like, so, okay, so you want us to play? And they're like, no. You know, we just want
Come
you
over to eat.
Come over to eat and surprise him. And we're like, all right, yeah, we're gonna have tacos. We're gonna have this and that. So we did. So we all rolled up on like a whatever Saturday afternoon, and she goes, I want you guys to come in around 4:00. Come into the back gate of the backyard, and we did. The kid freaked out. The kid like flat out freaked out.
He's like, what?
And he "Whoa," like, what's going on? And then the mom comes out like, surprise! I know they're your favorite band, so I brought you.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
No, Aaron, it gets worse.
Okay.
Better.
It's better.
Okay.
Zach starts hitting on the Thea. No, I'm just
Yeah. No. True story.
I didn't have to.
So
Was
they
she
started
hitting on
bringing
you?
out bottles of tequila and
Oh
and,
my
and,
God.
and beer, and
Oh,
of
yeah.
course, Snacks Stax does this whole, one for you, two for me, one for you, two for me type of thing, and starts bogarting the bottle, right?
Oh
No,
god.
no.
He would
I was
never.
just taking initiative.
And the Tias do come out, and
Taking
Stax
initiative.
does start hitting on him.
Oh
Oh my
no.
god.
And we're just like, oh, this is gonna get crummy. And you can see this kid's face going, like, what's going on?
His like smile just like
They liked it. They liked it.
This Make-A-Wish
You can see
Foundation.
the
I was hanging out. I was hanging out with the
look
Dios and the
on his face.
cousins. They were into it. They were into it.
Feed
We're
it.
partying.
Yeah. Anyways, so this leads us right in to now we're gonna fast forward to about 2008. The Heavers are starting to go through lineup changes, and we lose another drummer, and we decided to steal this one young kid who was barely 18.
2000.
He-
I was
he
like
was-
Or you 9?
He was like 16 or 17.
16.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't you
Yeah.
have to bring him
Man.
into the back
Wait.
once at the?
We had to bring him through the back to the
That's
booth
the
because
whole-
he wasn't
Yeah.
allowed, and they said,
Yeah.
"Okay, he can come in and play."
I
Is
remember
there
But then
that.
he
statute
needs to
limitations?
Yeah.
There was the
My
front
other
front
son.
door guy who was the security guard. After a while, you guys got him to know me that I didn't drink, so he
Yeah.
would let me go in, but I had to sit at the bar and not leave. So, yeah. So,
Crummy.
when I was growing up, so I was born in the year of our Lord 1989.
There you go.
So I knew Stax's family and a lot of your guys' families because of my mom. My mom like babysat a lot of people, and
Yeah, she babysat me for sure.
and they would call her B, like because her name is Beatriz. So for a long time, people were like, "Nah, dude," they call her B because it's beat down. Because she was the only woman that would take other people's kids and whoop the shit out of them. And so it was like, let's go.
Wait, was she Mexican?
Oh yeah,
Oh
absolutely.
yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Obviously.
So one day, this is like 1996. I'm in kindergarten. It's me and
Oh my god! I graduated '96.
Let's
Shut
go.
up!
Yeah.
God, shut
And so
up! Get out!
it's 96, and I'm in kindergarten with my
Ugh,
cousin and best friend,
disgusting.
and his older brother takes us to the VFW place to go see Stub. And we're little, man, and I don't even know how or why the fuck they let us into this thing. But we saw you guys play, and it was my first time seeing a mosh pit. And I was like sitting there, and this guy, they were moshing, and then some dude just kind of like, when people get rowdy, they clip somebody on accident and somebody takes it the wrong way. This dude grabs the dude and throws him into the wall and just fucking like Looney Tunes like collapses. And my eyes are shooting wide, and I'm like, what the fuck? And our JD goes, if you fucking tell your mother we brought you here, dude, all these guys are gonna fuck you and do that to you. And I was like, they're gonna fuck me?
They're gonna Looney Tunes you into the wall.
So I had seen you guys play, and you guys at that point in my life, I remember seeing just how like rowdy it was. And I knew you were on bass because over time Peter would talk about you, which is Stax's younger nephew. So Peter, myself, and Julian were in classes with each other our entire lives. So when Stub was being played, Sal Rios, the younger brother of Eddie, would come around and we'd exchange tapes. We'd get the Memorex tapes and we'd make copies, and we were listening to all your guys' bands. And that was like the code, right? Like, this is what punk rock is. This is what ska is. Aquabats were getting there. 80 Fingers Louie, Screw 32, Teen Idols. Like, there was all these things. Yeah. Fat Records comes out and does the Peep Show stuff. So for years, this was kind of like the standard. We make a band. At first, it was called Dix, D-I-X. I don't know why. Then
I know why.
Your favorite snack.
I've been chasing that VFW Brett, never found it. And then eventually we started a band called the Riot Society, and we were recording in the Cero Cuartito underneath. I mean, you're like 11 years old trying to play punk rock, and like Maxwell Murder was the shit. Julian and Peter were always like, "Oh my god!" Eddie can play all the bass lines, man. This is God. Everybody there is God. What's up, Playboy? Hey, it's me. So Sax would come over and he would start trying to show us how to play. We already had Mr. Graham. We had
I'm on podcast.
Mr. Roberts. So like all the horn players and everybody, their dads or their uncles or somebody, they were proud talking about you guys to us. Because even though they didn't really understand punk rock, you know what I mean, for the most part, they genuinely were like, you kids don't know how to play. My kid and his friends know how to play. You know, Mr. Graham was always about that. And so 5th grade, I'm playing saxophone with Peter, and Mr. Graham makes me cry. And pretty much like, fuck this shit, I'm going to drums. He makes me cry in middle school, and then he makes me cry in high school. Well, then Stax comes in, and we kind of go back and forth over the years, just getting to know him. So one day, I think it's our freshman year, like 2003, and Clem, which is Stax's sister, says, hey, we're going to go up for Peter's birthday to go watch the Heavers at the Atrium in Santa Cruz. And we're like, what the fuck? We're going to get to go on a school night to like Santa Cruz? This is dope. We get to the fucking show. This fool pops up and goes to the window, and immediately, like, he goes up to the window in front of us, goes, big old steamy window, draws a dick, and he's all. We're like, what the fuck?
Sounds about right.
So we got to see you guys play there, and then eventually we started playing shows, and it was interesting because we were playing at Watsonville in a backyard show to Norteños, and it was with you guys. And I remember like that entire week we were like, okay, we're playing with Heavers. This is it, boys. This is it. This is where like professional meets fucking pro. We were nervous as shit. No, I had already known Stax, but I knew Felix. He was very nice to me. He was always like, hey man, you're fucking cool, whatever. But we started talking at that backyard show, and it was this really fucking shitty metal band that was just doing grindcore.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this band trying to impress your brother? Like, I was like, oh, so there's a band playing. He's all, yeah. We're right in front of it. I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
Was that when Felix was yelling like Slayer did it better?
Yeah, he goes, Slayer did it better. Fucking shit. He's on
It's like the entire set.
Oh my god, dude. And I was just like, oh no, the Cholos are gonna get us. And so about 2 or 3 weeks later, Stax comes over to the tattoo shop I was apprenticing at, and I was renting a space for drums. And he goes, hey man, we're kind of thinking maybe you want to play with us. We can give you like 2 months to learn all our music. And I was like, give me fucking 2 weeks. I got you. Because this entire fucking time, same thing as Stax. So as Stax, Mr. Graham, everybody had this thing of like, you have to be the best. Not pushing someone down, but like you had to really be about your shit. Or as Aaron would say, the ADHD thing. And so I was like, yeah, dude, let's fucking do it. And I get to the practice, and I'm super fucking nervous. Hector's the nicest guy. Comes up to me, and he's like, oh, dude, Hector comes up and he goes, hey, man, no need to be nervous. I know this is because you guys had some guy with a green drum kit that played Santa Cruz, and he just did not play.
Rob, right?
Yeah,
Rob.
He played
Super
something.
sexy Rob. Yeah.
And we were talking to him. He's like, hey, man, just what he's doing, try to put a little bit more pep into it if you can. That was just all you told me. And I was like, cool. And then this guy looks at me, Stax goes, yeah, you got it, man. Don't worry, just fucking tocar. And fucking Felix goes, don't fuck it up. No. So we play, and I nailed the first song, and Felix's first 2 words to me after that was, got it. You know, that was it. So over time, it was fun, man. It was surreal. Then, like every other Heaver apparently that has left, you fall in love. And
what always confused me is at that point you were straight edge.
I still am.
Okay. You still are.
Sure.
But man, that girl, she was a mess, bro. And she was not straight edge.
Man, she was
The
awful.
girl. Yeah, dude.
Me and Gabby used to lay into him so hard.
So hard.
Opposites
Yeah.
attract.
No.
Dark hair.
She was like
remember?
this real skinny, like girl
Tiny
from Fresno.
Fresno girl. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I remember
That was his first sign.
Strike one.
Yeah, 100%.
No.
And I kept
But-
getting talked to by everybody, and it was
Yeah.
funny because one night, we're at the Blue, and we're playing with the vibrators, and
I remember that.
some people had shown up that I was having a really hard time with at that time in my life for some
Was
mistakes.
that at the Blue or was that at Club Caution?
No, it was at the Blue.
It was the Blue.
Okay.
And they were like hassling me and fucking hassling me, and I was like, I went up to Stacks and I was like, what would you do? And fucking Felix butts in immediately. He's all, what's going on? So I tell him the situation, and he has a moment with me where he's like, hey man, listen, are you trying to be a better man? And I go, yes, I am. And he goes, how long has it been? I go, probably like 3 years since the incident. And he goes, bro, it's too early to tell. He goes, you know what, bro? You're with us. You're a healer. You're with the family. Ain't no one gonna do shit full. We're all here to have a good time. Come on. Yeah, come on, everyone's have a good time. Come on. Yeah. And then he gets a little saucy and he starts threatening them on stage. Like straight up. You know, he just starts threatening them. I don't want to fuck nobody up. I'm gonna man, you know, I don't want to go to jail tonight.
But I will.
Yeah, but I will.
He said you fuck with the bean, you get the whole burrito.
Pretty
type of
much.
thing. Yeah.
And it was funny because at some point each one of you had really kind of sat down and talked to me man to man about like, hey man, like try to not just be better, but like, you know, like, hey man, we've been through some weird shit in the punk scene. Everybody goes through it. Just like keep your head up. You know, it is what it is. So fast forward, all this stuff happens, you know, like the losing Felix and all of us like catching up and seeing each other. And it's funny because in my world, I am kind of the person that brings everyone together for like my shop and my friends and so forth. And I reference you guys all the fucking time on the podcast. I reference you guys to friends and people. So when we were at the funeral, it is absolutely true what Bones was saying, what Aaron's saying, what all of you guys are saying. Like, it was weird to see how long you guys have been in my life, and we are 20, 30 minutes away from each other, an hour away, but life happens. And I think what trips me out the most about it is there is no, like, you guys were the predecessors for what friendship and real family should be. That's like real gente to gente shit. So when the thing happened, there was all these guys from my generation that were like, oh, puro punks, puro fucking punks. Ain't no one more punk than me. Not one of those motherfuckers showed up even to share a condolence. And it kind of opens the perspective a little bit more of like, you know, the type of friendship you guys have kept over the years, the type of fuck, dude, the way you guys hassle each other, the shit you talk, the jokes you tell, like you guys mourn in great company. And I think like what made me really stoked on seeing you guys after being a kindergartner all the way now to being 36. Like you guys met me when I was 16. It's been 20 years.
You're 17 still, dude.
Yeah, shut up.
Sorry, junior.
I don't know who he's talking about at 36.
But
36.
But you know, like I will say this without missing a beat. I really hope anyone listening on the show on YouTube, Facebook, and everything, like 90% of what you guys are just kids that didn't have much but each other. And it taught my generation, even though I'm not that much younger than you guys, but I mean, there is a difference between the punk culture.
You mean not much younger?
Shit, oh, I'm sorry. My younger self was telling me.
Telling you what's up.
Yeah, this is the ghost of fucking ex past.
Yeah. Don't date in Fresno.
Don't go to Fresno.
But
baby.
I really do think that like you guys are a great example of, you know how you look at punk documentaries. Like I love watching the Descendants one, and there was a very specific set of fucking things that had to happen, from our family struggling, moving to California, to the outskirts, the little the
farm towns.
The farm camps, the camps where they would stick us. You know, there was all these little things that had to happen, and through all that, none of us, even though we were fucking dumb, young, dumb, full of cum, as you guys would say, like nobody got bitter when it fucking mattered.
When have I ever said that?
Oh, never. But you know, when somebody passes away, when somebody fucking comes together, like you guys are a perfect example of what it is to be the real. And I think the hard part is like after all these years, I feel so fucking stupid And I think a lot of people listening, whether it be now or later on playback, like everybody can think of one person or one thing that they would reach out to if they were just a little bit braver and not feeling like they're going to look stupid, you know? And no, man, like I have an eternal love for you guys, because had it not been for you guys and Felix looking at me the night that this happened, what was it, Black Love or Black Glove or some band, but
Black Glove.
yeah,
Yeah,
there
Joe's
was,
band.
there was a band playing, and some dude that was hassling me was in the back of the Blue, and Stax comes out allegedly drunk, and they had their SKB guitar case laid out like this. This motherfucker, while Hector and Felix are like, "Hey man, you're gonna be okay, don't worry about it." Aaron and Gabby are in the bar telling me like I'm gonna be okay and everything's gonna be fine. Like, hey, it's part of growing up. Stax goes, "Fuck him, bro. What are they gonna do?" And he goes, "Check this shit out. You jump on the guitar case like full with your body weight, and you go kick flip, boom, and in front of the guy, and the guy's like,
Oh, so crummy.
That's amazing. I used to love when Felix would be like talking shit to somebody, and then he'd go, bring it in, hug it out.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, nah, you know, fuck you. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Actually,
It wasn't just the boys that used to fight, because there was a couple of times that these two gals in the room right here would
Oh, I believe it.
throw
I-
down
I-
and
I
here,
remember,
hold my hot dog.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know.
Oh my
I've
hot
never,
dog.
yeah.
That girl was stupid.
Dude,
all I know is that there was the first show I played with you guys was somewhere in Gilroy, I think, or something like that. And Corey's first words to me, like truly trying to talk to me, was like, "Hey man, if someone sticks a finger in your butthole, it ain't crazy, you know. You're just partying along the way." I'm all,
it's how it goes.
yeah. I was like, okay.
Just
And he
write
goes,
it.
"Yeah, don't worry,
Write
we'll
it
do
out.
good." So after this entire thing, Felix goes, "Hey, you good?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "All right, man, you got this." And Felix goes, "Hey, don't fuck this up." So all these chubby taking their fucking shirts off. All these, there was, because I remember it was some woman that was there that somebody didn't like, and she was trying to act like she was hot shit. So all the dudes took their shit off like immediately in the first song, and they were like going around. So all these guys are surrounding us while we're playing. And one of them puts their tummy, like their pancita, they put it on my floor tom. So I'm trying to hit it. So
Oh my
and I'm like,
god.
oh no! I look up, and in between all the fucking
sausage
voluptuous
fest?
dudes
Sweaty
is
dudes.
Flo looking at me like this. He's all,
Yeah.
oh no!
Oh, mad.
So bummed.
You know, dude, I have to say this after listening for like 2 hours, but it's like it is really cool after all these years to see that like there are people that write books and movies and stories dreaming of having a lifelong friendship that you can talk about everything, ugly, happy, sad, mad, and still enjoy each other's company at the end of the day. Like the fact that you say you love everybody, Hector, like it shows through each one of you. Like Wes, I'm proud of you, man. Like you own a game shop, you know, like look at you guys with your radio show. Fucking Bones killing it, you know, like your photography and your work. And you know, Stax, your tattooing is amazing. Aaron, you're fucking fucking awesome parent, dude. Gabby, look at what you've done with your girls. Like, you know, Manny, I don't know you, but you know, compliments. You know, but like, I'm joking. But like,
He's got an OnlyFans, and it is off the hook.
Yeah.
Only man's.
yeah,
Only Manny's.
yeah. He's on Diabolical Dundies. No, dude, I'm super proud of you guys.
I'm gonna hide this bowling pin.
I'm super proud of you guys, and I thank you, even though it sounds
Proud of you, man.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, dude, you guys know this, especially growing up in small towns, walking around by myself or with Sal or with Jules for fucking hours around King City. We'd walk to Pine Canyon, and we'd walk through the thing, and we would burn through fucking batteries on cassettes. listening to stuff. Crank it, that fuckers. And then that shit playing super loud, and our teachers taking away our shit, being like, "You can't listen to this. This is the devil's music." But it's ska,
Oh,
you know. So I love you guys, and thank you for allowing me
Love
to
you too.
share.
we love you too, dude.
And like I know it sounds like one of those things that people say like in a sad time or whatever.
Yeah.
But we really do need to make an effort to like
Yeah.
be in people's lives, like each other's lives, and like make a point to like, you know, go have dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
all
I'll be
all
coming
kind
down
of
more often.
Yeah. Or no, we have to go up there too, bro. Because
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, like
you know,
we need to make it work for
Yeah.
all of us.
what we're gonna do is you know, Aaron and Gabby, we're gonna take the kids up there to Grass Valley, and we're gonna bring X, the other kid.
Mm-hmm.
right.
The older brother.
Future Gabe.
It'll be like that Ice Cube road trip movie.
Yeah, absolutely. But without the blackface.
And
It'll
Uncle
be called
Davey.
Old Dads, but it's just Hector.
No, I think because my wife said this, and I love my wife with all my heart. Like we're celebrating 10 years this year, and she's genuinely somebody who like is a voice of reason. When I was in front of the casket, my landlord was bitching to me about parking because of our events, and I was fuming, dude. I was fuming, and I caught a photo. Who was your friend from Spain?
Monse.
I caught that photo of you hugging her, and I immediately I feel like a dick, being like, "Oh my god, that's so sad." You know, but like it is one of those things of learning to be in the moment and having this. And you know, my wife gently tells me, she goes, "You know, people come together in times of grief, and then they miss the feeling, and then they go back to their lives. So if nobody reaches out, it's not personal. People have just moved on and grown." And I because you know, she's never met any of you guys, but I was like, you know, no, it's different. When Bones and I were talking outside, I mean, we found one person to connect, and it was like, oh my god, I know who the fuck you are, and this and that to me is where, again, I hate to say it, but like Felix fought his entire life to teach us, even when he was crazy, man, to love each other and just fucking work hard and respect.
Well, he taught us and showed us that we're all small town ugly bastards.
Yeah, 100%, man. My favorite song all of them have been said, but I think the one that means something different to me, that Stacks, I would love for you to tattoo the actual lettering on me. But
yeah, I'd love to.
As a kid, it meant something really different. As an adult, it means something different, and it's ojo por ojo. You know what I mean? That means something genuinely different after 20 years. So that would be my pick.
It's a good one, dude.
All right,
That is a good one.
That's
I was gonna say, you guys, if you want to, Stacks is gonna be coming in July to guest spot. If you guys want to have dinner, and
Absolutely.
if you guys actually want to record a little podcast or something here, dude, I have
Absolutely.
I'm gonna be there a little extra long, so you know we can hang out and stuff. Davey, it's after your birthday. It's like the weekend after your like after your birthday.
I have a
The 20.
I'm going to a wedding up by Stacks actually, July 3rd. But that's like my only plans.
Well, I think when are you doing that big show?
In August, I'm pretty busy. I got the Marleys, I got Primus.
No,
so
I think we all want to go to Primus. So
yeah,
you have to get the whole room.
But Les Claypool lives up here where I'm at now.
Oh, really?
In Captainville, yeah.
Tell him you know how to play the bass.
So I don't want to hear excuses from any of you guys that
anybody talking to Les Claypool about the bass is embarrassing themselves.
Yeah.
It's like talking to Matt Freeman. Hey.
A friend of mine that owns a coffee shop up here. He's a drum tech, and he's Primus's drum tech.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So
when are you
I'll
guest
be up
spotting
in August.
Okay.
Not till August. Yeah.
When are you guest spotting, Stacks?
It's like the
24th.
July. Yeah,
24th.
24th.
He'll be 24th to the 29th here in July.
Oh, okay. End of
Yeah.
July.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it, dude.
Let's
So no
do it.
excuses, guys.
No.
Yeah.
No
No
excuses. You know, this has been just an incredible night. You know, we are together. Think about it. You know,
Always.
some way or another,
Yeah.
we are connected. You know, there's, you know, silly and almost sad to say, but we're connected via these gadgets. But it is that love, and if anything, thinking about all of us together, you know, it was Felix that bridged us. Think about it.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
For the majority of
eventually
us,
it
yeah.
was
100%.
Felix, you know, because that's how
But
he got
I-
to Mi Vecindad. That's how, you know, Wesso got to the Heavers, and eventually how Hector got to Gabby, and the, you know, the list goes on. You know, it's like
Yeah,
But it's
everything I love to
also
do
like
is because of him. You know.
because of
Felix
him.
Felix saw something in all of us,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
where
Yep.
he like kept us around,
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
which
Well,
is, you know, I don't know what he saw in most of us, but
it's that, you
Gabby's
know,
cool.
small tongue ugly bastard. Well, we're gonna end that night on that note,
Yeah.
and with lots of love.
All right.
I
Love you all.
Just a little,
I,
man.
I
Just a
just
little.
want to
Yeah.
say,
Yeah, yeah.
say that, you know, it's pretty hard for me, you know,
Oh, I know.
because he was like he was, you know, he was me and I was him, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Absolutely.
you guys make it a lot easier. And I'm fucking crying. This is stupid.
Yeah.
But you know, so I just want to thank you guys because, you know, you're the ones that keep him alive. You know, everybody who remembers him and loved him, and you know, yeah, I don't want to feel like he's dead. You know.
No.
Yeah.
So,
And he won't.
No, he won't.
That's why we
Love you, Gabby.
and I love you too,
We're all-
Love
Aaron.
you too.
Just you.
Yeah.
Just a little.
all right,
just a little.
Davey. You're only down the street, so stop it.
And I'll
Okay?
see you guys on
We gotta
Saturday.
hang out more.
Yeah.
Same thing with Davis. Don't let Davis hide out anymore, dude.
Oh, dude, I
Yeah.
hardly ever see him. He's down in Low.
Dalton somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he comes up here all the time.
All right.
All
All right,
right.
brothers. Well, thank you
Bye, guys.
all for
Bye.
hanging
All right.
out
Love you all
tonight.
so much.
Big hugs. Love
Bye,
you
guys.
guys.
For hanging out.
Bye.
Big hugs, man.
Thanks, guys.
That was good.
For doing that.
Yeah. All right, I gotta go do costumes. So.